have decided
That's
for him.
Twice in one map. Okay, well.
That little double take, that moment for him to process the information, like, did I just see someone staring at me in my peripheral vision?
This one's gotten away from Furia.
It's going to have to be on Nuke, I think.
Yeah. 4 straight rounds just to draw us to overtime. And it's great from 9Z to keep it so quiet. They're not spamming the smoke. They're not throwing a lot of nades. They're making it, okay, we've thrown the mid-util. Furia want answers. They're fed up of being executed on, so they go forward and they walk into the trap. Round 21 could be the final round of this one.
They were taking the A site whenever they wanted to. See if they can finish
give it a go again.
One more time. Yuri, Serato present. The 4 members of the Furia squad are in position. With Mayan gone, smoke spam. Yuri finds Wasso out Palace. They're starting to read this. They know what the flowchart looks like, and they are just tearing it up in front of 9Z. Couple back, DGT would have to go for all of them. Molodoi racks up the double. A sign of life from Furia.
Yeah, well, the Fangs are putting in a shift, right? Serato 23, Yuri 18. If there's activation from Molodoi and you can delay, they can win 3 straight. DGT is the only one that'll be... Mind, he can get a drop here. Money's gone after this one for 9Z. It'll be then eco into final round of regulation to try and get this done before overtime.
Hide your barrel. DGT none the wiser as to Serato's forward position.
How long does he hang around for, though? The smoke is fading, that flash premature, and he's just going to dart away. So they've foregone any mid-control fall, and we've seen him in this position a couple of times to limited success. Molodoi is going to try and flick between all these fights. Window boost established. DGT has no idea, but there's nobody on the other side, and Fallen continues to push. So info for him, stacked towards A.
And it's going to be Serato onto DGT. Molodoi's orb revealed and trapped up close. He goes in for the little dip, finds Max. More where that came from, and actually damage inflicted onto Luchov, saved by the concrete.
Just buy time for Fallen. He should come and sweep this under the rug from underpass.
Yeah, he's got your Kinder window as well. So the door is locked. Forward the only direction you can go. Safe pathing as well, sandwich-centric. Wasso's found Yuri, so now that opens up the avenue for a potential 3-on-3 with Serato's ticket and Fallen. Ooh, just a reaction headshot. He was looking the wrong way. Fury are fighting for their lives for that 2-0 into a 1-on-2. Luchov doesn't have the health, doesn't have the help or the bomb.
All the time.
Then again, Fallen is low. The Glock can finish him off with one single bullet. Fallen holds on. Well, you said a little late resurgence from someone. It's Fallen that goes from 6 frags to 8 in a must-win round.
Still got dicey there, didn't it?
Yes,
so
yes,
trying to fight their way out of that 9Z. They are going to have to take the eco now. Big catch from Serato. Good info play from Fallen. The kills are nice, but definitely securing the fact that it was going to be a finish towards that A site helped out a lot. And now it's just a couple of Deagles. But don't forget that first half where the Deagles came in, and 9Z won a big one. So we should be seeing every round of regulation. Just a question mark about that overtime. And do you, if you're 9Z, next round, just go back to that A execute?
It would be tempting, wouldn't it? The one time it really didn't work was just those 2 frags from Yuri and Serato through smokes. So it's just the one flash and go. Fallen's got one of those too. Eats theirs. Ikinda, full belt, gun out, just tracking these unarmored Ts. Luchov does find a little bit of output on a Glock headshot. Ooh, and a nice one from Fallen, talking about headshots. Single bullet midair.
Bit of clay pigeon shooting right there from Fallen. Okay. Well, I'll take your time out. You may as well, Bit, on the mic. They're still sweating right now. It's double orbs looking to be a response right now from Furia. One
Haven't
for
seen
Fallen,
it
one for
all
Molodoi.
game.
Yeah. Be limited in that regard. It's so tempting just to go back to that A execute with how much success you've had from it. But then you've got Fury as well, who know that they've been hemorrhaging rounds, so they want to try and give that a go. Having fallen on a secondary AWP, if he gets boosted towards B apartments, they can post him up and then leave him. Just depends on the pace of the rounds. Out of 9Z. Well, we're into the freeze time.
Ole.
And it won't be the A play. Full smoke mid. Con, window, top cap.
What is this? You haven't done this all game. Last round of regulation, a two-man lower push that Max is responsible for. Just started walking forward. He was unprepared for that jump scare, but info flows. You know, 2 CTs preoccupied on the B side of the map. No reaction through that palace smoke. They were tempted.
As you're too disconnected. Your mid players aren't close enough to contour up through.
Right, it's Luchov in mid.
You have to reset.
Are you anticipating Keserato? Underneath his crosshair. Slinks in undetected towards ladder.
It's good space for Luchov.
It is.
Be able to call the rotations if they're too cumbersome with the sound cues. Yuri now noted towards ramp.
No, Swasso's got a bit of a penchant for the Palace position.
He's putting in a shift as well, 25 kills deep. How many more can he get? The hurry up and wait right now from 9Z. Well, they just allowed Luchov to search. AUtil lobbed in.
And Quasso's gone. Empty hands. Yuri makes it so. DGT for that trade attempt in the flames. Down to Keserato. Couldn't transfer to Mayan, but advantage Furia extended. Just Luchov. Now they know where he is. It looks like overtime's a certainty. Fallen does get the shot baited out. Nice movement from Luchov. It's just the time against him. It's almost impossible. No reason not to give it a go. Molodoi ticket. Bomb under the boots of Yakinda towards the ramp, and Furia fighting back into this Mirage. 10 takes 5 to plant in the air, and overtime secured.
Okay.
Some resilience there from Furia.
Yeah, it's been a pretty frustrating map overall for Furia, I'd say, especially with the rounds lost in that first half. They get to continue now on this CT side. 12.5K to spend. And I think, regardless of result on this map, if you're Fury, you're going to think you should have put him away a whole lot cleaner than this. But they've held on. And we're back in play. The double AWPs will continue into overtime. Fury making the same move, jumping out window. This time not pushing the underpass. It looks hefty towards B. That's going to put pressure on Fallen. Soloing the site with the AWP.
Yeah, he's got to hit some. Roll back the years on that Gabriel Toledo AWP, but the flick's not connected, and that bomb site's gone. Quick exploitation, a quick adaptation. The double AWP in. Let's rush B. First round of OT, very cut and dry.
Those saves just securing that if they want to continue to run double AWPs, that they'll have the money down the stretch. But it looks like Fallen straight back in with the M4. Hits that shot, maybe you can start having a conversation about the rotation getting there in time. But otherwise, the setup from Furia is a misread. And Max calls them into a winning position, 13-12. Magic number of 16. 15-15, we do it all again. Straight across top mid has this rapidly. Playing ahead, making sure they're not just executed on A. There's another flash, and there'll be another swing.
Oh, that's a Wasso peak if ever I saw one.
Read that situation well, and now you need somebody from Furia to draw you back into this. An equalizer, will it be a multi? Keserato playing around the smokes. wants to have a bit of a look. Vision will be denied. Window smoke, then a palace exchange.
Acerus is going to eat this flashbang if he's not careful. Completely booked. Nice shooting.
Oh!
DGT double. He's not ready for Yakinda walking out of smoke, jumping out the window, but the A site is lost.
Yeah, that's more like the DGT we know and love.
Yeah. She found a good moment.
Oh, you got to give this a look.
And he will. Fallen does catch a back turn and finds a freebie onto Luchon. Full blind.
Fallen's caught up to Yakinda in the fragging department now.
It's just the two of them trying to find that way back in. And there's Spahan sticking around on site. He is that insurance policy. I guess Yakinda's going to try as hard as he can to bring that AK through to the next. Accepts defeat on this one. Two rather convincing 9Z rounds to start us off in overtime.
Indeed. Yeah, they've got the money, right? But can't buy that AK. So Yakinda will retain it.
Fast B. Methodical A.
Fury need one here before the swap of sides.
Oh. So nice. We saw it twice.
Yeah, Masa's been great. 4-1 in openers, 7 multis. On the other side, it's Caserado, 6-1 in openers and 8 multis. So
yeah, fair. He is putting in a hell of a shift, and it might be all for naught here on Mirage. Like you said, one round though keeps the conversation flowing. Has been very side-centric. There's not that usual kind of focus on mid as the focal point.
now going for more of a 4-man alien again, but this time it's going to be Molidoy tasked with AWPing over towards B. One operating as a rifler in this one. A little bit of damage done there from the HE. And works his way in through Palace with the AWP. If he can get trained on jungle, chance for a couple of fights.
Oh, Yakinda times that well. Impacted him with the incendiary. Kwasso's on his warpath. It's chaotic. There's money more where that came from. He ain't got any bullets. Hasn't got any life as Mayan tracks him nicely. We need to be able to get an unconditional plant, though. Looking like it's free. Bomb down. 3 on 4. Yakinda put on the floor by Nayan's AWP. That's Fallen and Caserado back in, and Max disconnected from ramp side. And 1 versus 3. They have no info on Max.
Worried about the lurk.
He slinks out. Will play the Tetris angle, looking for that one tap onto Fallen.
I'm sticking.
He's getting a bit sketchy now. Doesn't find the lethality he would have hoped for. Now that defuse, he can just hold it, just sit on it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got a round for Furia.
Okay. Hard fought. Really liking what I'm seeing from 9Z. Swap the sides, and just a reminder, if you missed the first half of play, Furia were calling a lot of fakes. Right? They were outmaneuvering 9Z. The type of rounds that they were losing were frustrating post plants. Lost around to some sharp deagles. And what was a 7-5 first half felt like it could have been a 9-3. Found herself in overtime. And well, once we get into these overtimes, both teams will get an extra timeout, right? Every time we make it OT2, OT3, you get a timeout per OT. They don't carry over. You got to use them, and you may as well. And that's what Bit's thinking.
Especially when your boys are in it to take it to the third map here. It's sort of, you know, real golden opportunity. Dust 2 lackluster. Mirage the opposite. Dodgy smoke mid.
What a rally of flashes from both teams to try and contest this mid control. There's been multiple waves of this.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get multiple head-to-heads. That's a great find. And the swing from DGT for that clawback retreat. Successful. Molodoi couldn't find it.
All this A finish, a couple of smokes.
Yeah, and a couple of CTs that are going to be rats in the system here.
Yeah, you got to get past this first, don't you?
It's Wasso. Goes across the sideline. Is he going to subvert the expectation? Oh, walk clear from Keserato doesn't cost him.
EGT's coming, though. He's going to give it a go. Util's just been...
Looks like Mayan's been summoned.
But here's the thing, right? Because it was so fakey in the first half, DGT knows it's not going to be A, but they've still gravitated away from this, so... You're certain it's not A, right? The fact that nobody's close in the Utils there, you know it's a fake.
Yeah, Max has been warned. DGT reveals it.
And maybe you go con to A now, right? Because of that position. No, up short into B. Time, 20 seconds.
It's not going to be easy. Max is in such a good position. Only the one. Trade necessary from Yuri. Oh, and Molodoi's caught DGT, but it comes down to this. With 13 seconds left, he's got his nades out. Mayan sits him down in the Orb rivalry. That one feels good for 9Z. Yeah. It was up for debate the whole time.
Yeah, Mayan's had a couple of nice moments, hasn't he, on the Orb? There's another one to add to that tally. Okay, just one more round to break through to take us to Nuke. That one's for free. Great clawback from DGT, starting to come alive. Important from Keserato, but the fact that DGT was here as well, they knew it was the fake, they knew what was up. Max gets his. Celebrations, they're all let out. Still alive and kicking. Sid's turn. 2 rounds, that's all you need. Tried to be fakey with it, just like regulation. Got caught off guard this time.
How many map points is it now? 2 more opportunities for 9Z to take us to the 3rd.
It's tough to see what the call's going to be, right? Because they've been so fake, you go, oh, we do want to play direct, but I wouldn't really want to play heads-up Counter-Strike against 9Z, especially if you're going into the A side against Hwasao.
Yeah, and the fact that Mayan's waking up in a very, very big way here on Mirage. He just put the 15th on the board in the 1v1. That's going to leave a mark on the Akinda. HE down the gullet. Unnecessary flash! It doesn't stop him from pulling the trigger, though.
That's fallen. Dead man walking, and there's another.
Oh, surely that's curtains. We'll see you on nukes as 9Z, because Furia completely flatlined.
Yeah, going to be a lot of rounds in review when they get to the demo portion of the day. We'll find out if they're winners or losers in that one, as it's Keserato and Molodoi in a 2v5 situation. It's just Max on the side on his own for now. The rotation point will be made in through window, and he'll be quickly followed by DGT, but Max could win this on his own right here.
Looks like he intends to. It's a perfect angle for it. He's playing it safe. Doesn't have to be the hero. He knows the backup isn't too far away. Mayan arrives just in time. Keserato looking the wrong way.
Hard fought, well done, 9Z. This is grit, this is determination. Your map, it might not have gone your way, but you've battled back, you never gave up, and you're still pushing this one to the 3rd and decider with playoffs on the line.
Yeah, bring on Nuke.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what it has in store. One more map.
Yeah, Nuke right in front of us. Seems like 9Z want to keep the fight going, and we're okay with that here at the Esports World Cup Club Championships in 2026. Well, that turned out a lot better for Mirage for 9Z. Isn't that right, Dupree?
I feel like the script was sort of similar. What really changed the thing for me here was just the fact that, you know, that 9Z won some of those 50-50 duels and also made some of those clutches going in their favor, right? And they, you know, they fought for it. And throughout their T side, they were just being very stubborn, you know, like they kept going back to the A bomb side and like all these splits that seemed to be working for them, right? But a game that went very back and forth, but in hindsight, you know, looking at what 9Z also tactically proved on those 2, they brought that into Mirage, looked very solid, and just made things work, and now we're going to Nuke, so I'm still a believer, man. You know, we're going a distance here, and I love what 9Z's bringing.
Yeah, I think we got the game that we expected coming into it. You know, 2 very even teams, 2 teams with the history, what happened at the Major, now coming in again, you know, 2 South American teams who, you know, Fury have been established for quite some time, and 9Z are the new kids on the block, so to speak, and we labeled it, Peter, as probably closer than people at home would anticipate, and I think we got an answer on Mirage exactly why that is. Now, I agree. I think 9C played well. I think they kept ahead of the game almost. You know, as Chad said, you know, it was a bit of a grind and a grueling matchup for them. I will, however, say I'm disappointed in Furia. You're up 8-3 against 9C, second map, your own map pick, and then you completely check out of the game. You lose 9 out of the following 10 rounds, and you invite 9C back into it. And as much as there were great things coming out from 9C, it was also a Furia who seemingly had forgotten how to retake and how to play together at any given moment in this game. The amount of times 9C walk into a bomb site and they're down 3v4 or 2v4 or even, you know, in a 4v4 scenario, but running out of grenades, running out of utility, Furia just found ways to lose rounds that they shouldn't be losing. So I think it's lopsided. It's a bit two-sided in that regard. 9C playing well, sure, capitalizing on the mistakes, but Furia, that's not a team that were in the major final just a couple of months ago. At least not the level they showcased here.
Yeah, it seems like at a certain point, Furia were actually going to make 9Z really try to commit to that A bomb site every single time, but it did work for 9Z a little bit later in that second half. Obviously, that only goes so far, but then you have to get into overtime. Then things reset. What does it look like when you get to overtime? Can we paint the viewer at home a picture?
I think once they turn their attention to the overtime, I think that's where 9C really had to like try and like dig deep into what actually worked for us in regulation, right? Instead of, you know, trying to create something out of the ordinary or something new, they just have to go back to what actually worked for them, and that again was that A split. So I think also one of the last rounds we asked a little bit more of Mayan, right? I feel like Mayan also found a couple of openings. He also got that very important round 28 where, you know, we saw DGT push into ramp, trying to find that information and puzzle things together, you know, kept it proactive instead of just relying on stacking out of without any type of information. And once they got that, you know, Mayan really came into an important situation where he nailed that shot in a head-to-head against Molodoi, and that kind of carried them over. You know, the confidence kind of came back to them, and you can see how much that mattered to Mayan as well. He was being very vocal when he won the round, and I think, you know, it has to be a little bit on his own mind, right, that the team also wants him to be stepping up, right? But once you turn into overtime, it's about, you know, it's a mind game at that point. You know, you've battled out for 24 rounds. You're also trying to, you know, you've kind of gone through the majority of your playbook. Go back to what actually worked for you. Maybe have a couple of, you know, small changes to maybe, you know, cause your opponent to overthink situation. And I think that's one of the reasons to why 9C proved out to be
I think
better.
it's only fair we give Mayan credit, you know, very calm, composed display by him, you know. We're able to punish Furia a couple of times in those retake scenarios with the AWP. Even found himself in some close combat scenarios as well, which he, this time around, unlike Dust 2, actually hit the shot and had an impact in the game. Again, Wasopik, you know, we've been speaking a bit about him coming into the game after Dust 2 as well. That was a star performance, you know. He finishes with 100+ ADR in an overtime game against Furia. Again, we said it. It was the highest rated player coming into this tournament on land so far in the second portion of the season. Again, I gotta label it small sample size, but no one, as in absolutely no one out there can, you know, hand in their heart say that, yeah, I thought Wasopik was going to be the highest rated player, you know, coming into the second portion of the season. And I can also tell you, that's not going to stay that case, you know. There's going to be a guy called Dong, a guy called Saivu, and maybe a few other players who's going to overtake him. But I think he's slowly but surely, ever since what we saw at the Major, now coming into the second portion of the season, we have to look at Wasopik as a potential star player, not only within his own region, but also internationally.
Yeah, he's making a very, very strong case for us. Obviously, there are situations like round 11 where there were big deagle plays from the sign at 9Z where they're able to kind of lasso it back in to a degree. Obviously, there's a good fight there put on from the 9Z side. I think when we start to look towards those later rounds, there was some second guessing going on. I'm looking towards like a round 17 almost, where there was second guessing going on towards that A ramp. You've pushed out all the way. You've given all this effort, maximum effort. You're still behind the smoke, and then you've elected to kind of back off. What's going on there?
I mean, it was one of those rounds that I'm sure we'll go back to and look at, you know, because I agree with you, Trace, in the second half. There were many instances and many rounds where Furia had a good opportunity. The problem for Furia is their answer on the CT side, Peter, was constantly to push for information. It felt like every single player, whether that was Fallen in B-Apps, Yakinda on A-Ramp, Yuri for that matter, in Apartment from time to time as well, every single player from Furia felt uncomfortable, dare I say it, on the CT side, that they felt they needed to push for information. At no point was the answer to just sit back, wait, and trust in the retake, because that retake weren't really doable for them. That didn't really work out, so it was kind of laid out for them to some degree that it wasn't necessarily a good CT side. We see it right here again, you know, the aggressiveness coming in from Yuri catching a nice timing. 2 players go down, trading back and forth. They're winning it out. Molotov coming in with the AWP as well. You find yourself in a 4v2 scenario, and that's very winnable for Furia. Look at the economy as well, right? There was a 5-7 on Fallen. He's over here on B by himself with a bit of backup over in kitchen. Gets a nice double kill, picks up an AK-47. It's 9-8. You think to yourself, all right, that's going to kickstart Furia. Now we're going to go for it again. Yakinda pushing up towards middle. Aggressive. Finds the first kill. You think to yourself, nice. Now you can fall back. And then they lose control over the A bomb site. And they're not able to retake it. I'm not sure what the player doing right here by himself. That's Yakinda again. No need to do that. You could have waited for your team. You had plenty of utility. You had good positioning. And then they just get picked off one by one by one. This, to me, Peter, was the round where they lost the game. Had they won this, they would have forced 90 into another eco. They would have established a bit of economy themselves on the CT side. But retaking that A-bomb site was out of the question for Furia. They felt forced to constantly go for another duel, constantly try to find information, and I think there was a clear-cut evidence of them not feeling comfortable on the map.
Well, the evidence is pretty much laying itself out in real time. Last map of the series, Nuke. How are we looking at this now that we've gotten to the very, what could be bitter end here of the road for 9Z?
Has anything changed for you, Peter?
No, I'm still on 9C. Why would I back out now? You know, they just won Mirage, you know, so there's no way I'm going to be backing out right now, you know. It's always like this with the third map, you know, and also with how this series has evolved, I feel like it's very even, you know. It really just comes down to who gets the opening kills, because I feel like from Dust 2, where 9C got a lot of good openings and they managed to get a lot of good situations, they just didn't salvage them. They turned that around. That worked for them in Mirage. And now we move into to Nuke, you know, where both teams are still relatively comfortable. I mean, like, it's not a map that both teams wants to be picking and playing the most, but it's still like a sort of even ground. And that's the perfect kind of battleground for a series that has been very even to me as well. So I'm not going to be backing off 9C. I still think it's possible, and I still think they're going to catch it.
Been a very streaky game. You know, we saw it on the first map as well. Furia winning 6-7 rounds in a row, then tampering off a little bit, coming back into it. Same could be said for 9C here as well. Won 9 out of 10 rounds all of a sudden on Mirage. All I'm saying is whoever gets to that streak first on Nuke, a map where it's very tough to fight your way out of an economical situation not going your way. If you lack utility on the T side, if you're not getting the job done over on that T side, it's going to be tough. I agree with you. I think it's a close matchup. Again, people at home would be thinking to themselves, well, that's Furia. It's written all over it, right? It's Nuke. They're supposed to win this game. I see it very much as a maybe 55% in advantage for Furia, but I won't rule out the fact that 9C can most definitely put up a game here.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. You might need a string of 6-7 rounds, something like that. I'd even almost go to say 67% chance that we have a pretty awesome final map here of this series. We're going to go to a quick break. We're going to come back and settle the score here on Nuke with 9Z and Furia. You're watching the Esports World Cup Club Championships. We'll be right back.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
We book Esports World Cup.
Jenny here, and I'm joined with Furia to do a little bit of a who is most likely to, testing your synergy off the server this time around. Concept is pretty simple. I'm gonna give you guys a couple of scenarios. You write the name of who you think that applies to, and we can discuss. Who has the messiest hotel room?
Damn.
Oh, easy. I already saw the room, bro. It's crazy.
What's wrong with the room?
Well, but there's everything in the room. Like
I don't know, bro. There's
I
many
can't
peoples.
explain. Like it's ugly, bro.
Yeah, take your time, bro. It's okay.
Okay.
Hey, let's go.
Oof, me Messi. You're crazy.
I pick myself because I know me.
Bro,
I don't like.
once he forgot his passport in the hotel, so I need to go back to take to him, for him, and I saw the room, bro. It's like mad room, bro. Like I never seen anything like.
I feel like in our team there's always like pairs that live together most of the time. I think Caserato and Yuri's most of them. Then Daniel usually lives alone, and me and Fallen sometimes share or whatever. I've never really seen anybody being so messy, but I just wrote Caserato because I've never lived with him, so I just assumed.
Shots fired.
I'm not this type of guy. I'm
Yeah,
the only
true.
one.
He's
I've heard
I thought-
I've heard bad stories about you though, Yuri.
sometimes.
All right. Who's most likely to survive a zombie apocalypse?
Bro.
That's funny,
Bro,
actually.
it's definitely not you, bro.
That's actually funny.
It's definitely not you, bro.
It's definitely-
Yeah, bro.
Bro,
can
I
say whatever
love
you want,
the
bro, but-
movies, bro. Everything.
Watch is the difference, bro.
What?
Watch is different.
Yeah, bro. Nice, Maddox. You're right, bro. You're right.
You know why I wrote you? Because you're playing 1.6 zombie servers.
True, bro. Since
How
when
it's help
I
you,
was
bro?
kid, I love like
How it's help you in life?
apocalypse. Huh?
How it's help you in life?
Bro, because there's things that you saw that in the real world that's gonna work.
You know that I had to shoot the head.
Yeah, that's
No, there's more things, but I love this kind of maybe me, yeah.
Who did you put?
Well, no one, bro.
None of us.
None of us, of course.
Maybe.
Yeah, depends how is the zombies. The Walking Dead zombies, easy to survive. But if it's a fucking World War Z, impossible, bro. Impossible, bro.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
I guess it depends.
Yeah,
it does depend
That's
on many
up with
things.
none of us.
If it's 1.6 zombies, Yuri is the king.
Yeah,
Yuri
He's
is the winner.
me, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have power, so maybe.
Who is most likely to sleep through their alarm?
Yeah. All of them is him.
Always
Jay-Z,
late, you know.
TikTok,
Always
all
late.
the nights.
How many hours do you have on TikTok per day?
It's not many hours.
Not many.
Yeah.
Every time
yeah.
I see you in the phone on TikTok, bro.
I think 4 hours per day.
4 hours on.
4 hours, but the speed he scrolls is insane. He's just like not even looking at them, just scrolling. Scrolling for what?
Yeah,
Do you watch in like 1.5 speed?
No.
No.
If he's not on TikTok, he's on Twitch. Watch some streamer.
Twitch, yeah.
True.
I think 10 hours it's Twitch, 1 hour it's TikTok, and all
When do you
time.
crack?
He doesn't.
Watching Twitch.
Yeah.
That's it from us for today. Thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you
joining me.
so
Hope you
much.
guys enjoyed.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. You see my name in the lights, better get right, champion.
It will be playoffs for the winner of Nuke. We've gone to the third here between 9C and Furia here at EWC. The last of the upper bracket games coming to a conclusion on the third. Didn't think we would require it after the first map. Furia taking 9Z's pick at Dust 2 rather convincingly, and then a bit of a brawl on Mirage, heading all the way to OT. Chad, throughout Mirage, you were highlighting that there was multiple rounds that felt like near misses or frustrating rounds for Furia to lose. Is that the kind of thing that follows you into a map 3?
I think with Fallen at the helm here, this is the type of thing that they can just wipe away. It's not going to concern them too much. I'll let everybody know the knife front has gone down. It looks like we'll have 9Z starting on the CT side of Nuke. Means Furia will be on the attack. And, well, 9Z in the second half of that map, they finally posted their first pistol. We're 3-1 in that department as we get ready to get this one underway. So headsets are going in. Oh, we've got a tournament management individual supporting Mayan right here, who had some fantastic moments on the AWP alongside of Hwasao's output.
Hwasao's had an MVP this year.
Yeah, at XSC. think just the rundown of the positions to expect these players to be holding on the CT side. You are going to have DGT as your outside rifler, Mayan as the AWPer. You're going to have Luchov as the doorman, Mayan as the top anchor, and it's a little bit strange, but Max is the ramp player. And the reason it's a little bit strange is because he's the in-game leader.
Yeah.
It's one of the positions you can read the map from the least, so you need to put a lot of reliance in your rotation players, which is going to be Mayan, which is going to be Luchov, and of course DGT, who up until like the dying stages of Mirage was relatively quiet for his standards. He had 7 kills on Dust 2. They lost that map, they got owned, but 14 kills on Mirage. He really started to have some impact as the game got into those dying stages, so he's going to need to be able to deliver in big time, because outside he's going to have to tussle with players like Yakinda and Molodor, who are going to be looking for space. You'll have Yuri outside as well, supporting from top silo. Caserado over towards lobby, supporting the pressure and lurks, and then Fallen throwing a lot of nades. And I guess usually with the in-game leader, it's a nice player to look at on the T side to see, okay, what smoke balls are being thrown, and then where does he find himself, what type of rounds they're looking to unfold with.
I mean, so frequently, over the course of these first 2 maps, you've seen the places Fallen, puts himself. It's CT side, I'll play long. Mirage, I'll play B, and I'll jump spot, and I'll try and block. It's Fallen has definitely took a step out of the limelight to try and set up these talented individuals that he's surrounded by.
Well, I said it's unusual for your in-game leader to play ramp. Once we get to the side, Fallen does the same thing.
He does?
Right, so that's when you have a player like Yakinda, who he's done a little in-game leading stint before, right? He obviously understands the macro very well, and he's an aggressive rifler. You want to put a player in a position like that, because if Yakinda is filling the game, he's the type of guy that can win it for you, whether or not it's the frag distribution, but it can be the calls and understanding the flow of the game. Yakinda is a gem. The way that certain players talk about the game, you can hear it in interviews. They have a high-level understanding of how things unfold. It looks like everything is sorted now, so we are just making sure everyone is comfortable and ready for this final map of the series. The loser will not be eliminated. They will go down to the lower bracket tomorrow, and they'll play against Magic. Winner of that will take one of the final spots at the table. We are about to get this one started, so T-side pistol buy has multiple HEs in the mix. At least it did. It looks like one's either been dropped or sold back. They're juggling this around, just making sure everything is how they'd hope. Okay. It's just the one HE. I was curious what they were going to do with the second. First to be the blow-off door.
Quickly followed by the lurk smoke. Top pop would be deadly. The CT's going for the fight. That is ambitious. Mayan's able to bring the fight to the T side.
4 players in A.
Yakinda's gone. He's watching from the sidelines here as they walk into a rather stacked and deadly looking hold.
Pivoting into Max now.
It's the right call. Less defense here. Max is just forced to turn tail, and Caserado to hold these rotates. DGT's aware of the possibility, and he deletes him. Not comfortable for Furia. 9Z for their second pistol in the series if they can convert here. Looking good to do so.
Yeah, heavy rotation down. They can even deny the plan if they want.
That's the fight they were looking for. Single door being open means DGT's got that sight line, just trying to pepper, find a head. Luchov reveals his position on the double doors, and yeah, this is brutal.
Might get the plan into topside right now. Up the vent is going to be the quickest way to try and cut Fallen off, and if he plants backside, yeah, it'll go down. So Fallen just going to punch these in.
Get something out of it.
Yeah, it is going to make next round a whole lot more interesting, unless Fallen wins a 1v5.
Yeah, watch this. Whoa, 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 wee-wah.
Yeah,
good try. NT's in the chat for that one, I reckon.
Swarm of CTs coming his way.
But from what would have been a straight shutout, useless, nothing like silver lining pistol into 2 kills and a plant, you'll be happy with that.
Yeah, and they've held off on the defuse, giving this one to DGT because he's got the most kills in the round. So we'll see what they're hoping to facilitate with the extra cash he's going to get off of this. I think it's just a bit more money, so their outside rifler. Well, he could technically drop an AWP for Mayan. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Okay, so we can go head armor rifle and get out some extra nades. Will not be a kit going into this round for 9Z. Fury, of course, they force spot. Fallen's going to throw out the squeaky door lurk smoke. Yakinda's going to blow that off. Nice top swing. Excuse
Yeah,
me,
just
this is
going
fast.
straight out. Yakinda wants to fight through the smoke. Parthing, they're actually obscured on top of Hut. That smoke has enabled them to get the opening cleanly. Fallen does well, finds him. Luchos fallen, and 9Z's defense crumbles. Not perfect on the smoke break. There was another smoke there, so still masked on the smoke break. Fallen, another kill. That's 3 on the Tech 9 from Captain Toledo.
Beautiful work. Okay, throwing the nades and getting the kills. The boss man still got it. As we'll go tit for tat to tie things up 1-all. It's going to feel pretty hollow if you're 9Z.
Yeah.
These pistols have they've been hard to come by, and the fact that you've grabbed that one and can't get the conversion, now you're going to have a 1400 force by back the other way. Max strikes me as a selfless man who'll probably drop this to one of his stars. And with Bit out of his chair, does that tell he wants to come forward and signal a timeout? Let me turn around and see. Oh.
He's going to let him have it.
Some coaches like to stand, some like to sit, some like to pace.
I would be the paciest of the coaches.
Some like to pull some faces.
That's true.
Okay, so Max has dropped that across immediately to DGT. 5.7s, MP9s, more than workable. If you're Fury, do you want to take outside space, get warehouse control, work around towards heaven and hell? Always a good way when you know that they don't have the best of guns.
This is quick on first timing yard cross. Smoke. Not quite perfect.
Bit deep on that. Well, Luchov's rotated down already. He's got an awful lot of company.
He also does have a 5.7, so it's the kind of range you could get that instant headshot if you nail this. Just like that, just like that. Yakinda down to the 5.7, and he slinks away. Opening frag provided in this force buy. And no over-rotation from 9Z either. They're not falling into any traps. Going back into that top side, Queserato searching. He's been spotted by Luchov, relaying the information. It's Yuri with the bomb that is anticipating the reaggress. DGT, the only M4 revealed.
Max is in dark.
Ooh, do you overlook this completely, Yuri? Yes, you do. You're caught lining up nades. Positionally sound counter-strike out of Max. Oh, and Molodoy's bell rung by Guasso. Queserato, the double kill necessary. Both of them here, gets the info, but now a very uncomfortable clutch for Queserato. How does he choose to play this?
If he wants, he could run heaven. He's
a deep
no time.
single smoke with 20 seconds left. He's kind of in trouble. Cognizant that it's unlikely they'll push that smoke, but it's not impossible. Wants to close the door and go for the plant. No risking it. Risking it. It's the right call. They partner up, both double doors side. Queserato got to try and swing to win. Onto Guasso and Mayan. He's pulling it off. This would be one hell of a clutch. Keep Furia in their winning ways. He steps up. Leaves with 4. Massive save of the day there. It looked like it was going one way fast. Queserato, the bailout.
I think that's another one for 9Z. It's gotten away from you there. You could have had the force by wars going back and forth, especially after this opener. Luchov, he was the man on that Deagle round back on Mirage, gets the opening kill. This was great. Max got there just in time. Ran in, dipped in, did make a sound cue, but they weren't close enough to hear him. And that one's good. Oh,
a standing ovation from Fallen.
Yeah.
He knows how important that one was.
Well, Queserato was putting on a masterclass in the last map as well. 2 digs, a P250, a 5.7 and a USP for Mayan, who wants to bring out the AWP into the next round. I think it's going to be possible with the 2400 loss. Yes, he's happy to go the glass cannon.
Smoke into the lockers themselves. Limits their angles for these long-range fights. AKs versus pistols at this range should be casual.
This was the approach that I thought they were going to go with last round, but either way, I'm going to stick the landing. Just DGT. Ladder he pops, Fallen. The secret of his position, as DGT would love this, but there's a flash. He was looking the wrong... Oh,
okay. Baited him with the shot, still gets it blind. Can he yoink this?
Well, they're not picking up the bomb and looking for the finish, are they? They are tasked with trying to track down DGT. Safety first for Furia. DGT knows he'll be safe on the lower deck with the new changes to the bomb, so he's just going to hide out and hope that they come looking to do a bit more damage. 3-1. As I just peer down the other end of the hall, we can see that Gigi Howe and Aurora on that secondary stream are just starting to get into action. Map pool over there, and if you're interested, Mirage, Anubis, and Inferno. Winner of that will progress to the playoffs. Loser will be eliminated.
Someone's key's getting crushed.
Okay, so AK retained for DGT, the yard player. Does Mayan go glass cannon? That's my question, as Pitt gets on the mic with the tactical timeout early. Mayan is yet to buy. Waiting out the instructions or conversation with the coach. Won the pistol, he lost the force. She had a good opportunity on the force back. Queserado clutched up. And the eco, you get waltzed over. Understandably so. Man will not be going glass cannon.
Restarting with a very clear intention towards the lobby.
Yeah, I'll try and pressure in-game leader at max here. Outside's a full fake. Nobody home to do anything with this. Just hoping it forces a rotation. Leaves Max high and dry.
He's playing for that crouch peek. He still can't connect a bullet. Yukindo takes him cleanly. Be open for business. Just Luchov down the vents in time. Quick fight. They've got their nades out, so clawback from Luchov. Trade out of Molodoi. Site taken, bomb planted. Yuri making that so. Lasso dips down the vents as well, though, so they might not be anticipating this as I take it all back. He's out of there.
Some real conviction there with Luchov. As soon as that ramp kill comes in, because it was Yukindo who got the frag, I don't think he was even worrying about the idea of the outside to secret play. He just went straight down the vent and tried to rectify the situation. That means that they had a decent-ish understanding. TGT was still worried about someone floating outside. The nameplate Counter-Strike coming into play, and that'll be the fourth round. I think for Furia, the objective should be just avoiding some of those more prickly rounds that they experienced in the first half of Mirage. Bomb goes off. 3 rifles retained. 4 straight. So they will be buying back in. So some drops available. Just watching the juggling of guns coming together. Luchov is going to operate with the MP9. Max is going to get it at 4 for ramp. And Quasar still with that Famis.
Whoa, that's a very intimidating molly thrown out towards the Tetris boxes from Queserato. A smoke on main would have DGT panicking as well. Quasso just threw a block smoke hut, though. That might slow things down, slow their roll as Util outside will land with no info behind them. Some info behind them. A smoke break from DGT and Mayan thrown out number 2.
And he's a bit deep. He's been a bit deep on a couple of these. Booster back up into the rafters.
Got to watch some of those Zywoo demos. He can just freestyle it from wherever. It seems to be perfect breaks. Let's see what we do into this minute mark. Mayan on the floor committed to a sweep of lobby. Such a deep line. Luchov hut. Held by Yukinda. Don't get much info. It was inevitable. Molodoi will. Straight foul. Ouch! That one leaves a mark. Okay. Fair play. Molodoi's pre-aim bang on.
Max is the ramp defender. Down B was worried about the secret cross. Now he's going to hear some steps.
Yeah. Oh, more than steps. He's got multiple bodies, and the trade potential was there.
Quasau's down.
He is, Famas, and they are channeled into this for the burst, so damage inflicted onto Yuri. Luchov low. DGT swings over the doors, and Crosshair was not far off of the mark. Molodoi, a little bit of light damage, and Fallen quick to the double.
Okay, this is crazy now. 4 of these 5 rounds, they've only conceded 1 player, Furia. So feeling dominant, but again, with how Mirage was feeling, you have to hold on and just see if they're able to continue the landslide. 5 rounds T-side already. Fallen will be happy with that. But if you give 9Z a way back in, if you give them any hope, this isn't a team who's going to give up. They had that man orb, no success. They have guns again, sure. Just winning the pistol and losing the follow-up, you can see they're just in a tailspin. These full buys aren't to come by as second tactical timeout has subsided. 2 Famases. Like Famas on your yard defender and your doorman. It's like, ooh, those are 2 of your key rotating positions, 2 key positions that we fighting yard, main, outside. That was good. That one, not so much. So they're taking turns. And really no surprise. Furia take their time. Slow crawl. Lockers smoke. Main smoke. Telling them they want to wrap heaven and hell.
Crazy molly as well. Look at the freedom that gives you, Kinder, to just stride into that warehouse. Yuri up close will have heard the heaven climb from Mayan. Supported by Yakinda's angle, they can close the gap.
This is tough. They've rotated 2 players down B, so top side needs to hold strong on its own.
I think Fallen's calling a bit of a masterclass here on T-side nuke. He has such a good idea as to the likely reactions out of 9Z.
35 seconds, time starting to become a bit of an issue.
Looking at this setup, though, it's all kind of contingent on Mayan getting something. Then the rest can fall into place. Unable to do so. There's Luchov, though. Yakinda not looking the right way, and the frag keep flowing for 9Z. Double out of Luchov's Famas. And no time for the looser at pieces in case Serato and Molodoi to really make a case for this round. So
they just totaled up. Right? That's it's an oldie but a goldie. Modern game, when you lose space, you're seeing teams who want to try and push in and take something back. They've just gotten comped as Serato is going to do damage. Oof. Chance for another frag was available there as well. So he's going to limit the finances of 9Z still. Space was there.
Yeah.
But 9Z just stuck to their guns.
See the logic in their setup as well, with Mayan drawing attention as they exit heaven. It's going to set him up for those side swipes from the hut position. We've got top util fast. Serato trying to keep him on notice. Force out an incendiary. Extinguish front vent, so that opens up the avenue for a vent dive. You can see them unloading their mag. Are they going to try it? Ooh, what? Quasso catches Yakinda. Easy Peekins just managed to find vision on the top of the door. In case Serato's down too. Quasso, huge impact to start. The only MP9, and it finds 2. Molodoi down to Max. 9Z are stabilizing. Out on yard, out on our solo adventure is Fallen.
DGT should have him here. Oh, there you go. Spotted and removed. It's just Yuri low on HP. Now, it was a good patch of rounds from Furia, right? The force by win, they're able to run with 5 shutouts, talking about how dominant those rounds were. And throughout that, it meant they were able to build a lot of cash, but you can still squander it before the half is over. Really be careful. Molodoi with 10K. At the high end, Yakinda is going to need a drop. What's going on here with Yakinda down the end? Maybe just in a bit of deep thought. This will be the third round for 9Z now. And yeah, big stuff from Hwasa. They've continuously denied that top heart molly, right? We've seen that extinguished several times. They really want to keep that real estate.
It's good to enforce that it's not a given, that you don't need to be clearing it.
Slow into this round as 5 staying alive will fill 9Z with a bit of confidence. Not only can they recover this half, they can still take the lead going into the break, right? This is 7-5 half on the table. You just need to go flawless from here on out. And that would make up for the forced by loss in the second. You are content if you're Furia, but momentum plays a big role. You don't want to allow them just to string consecutive rounds. It would have to be 6 straight into the half.
Nice little bit of movement from Hwasa and awareness as to Keisarato's tendencies.
I think they need to start taking this outside space, Furia. They've been very lobby-centric, hoping that they're forcing rotations, but they've been given the good graces to actually play off of the yard space. It's just being given to them.
Yeah, it is. A couple of half-hearted grenades, and that's about it.
And no man AWP to try and make things a little bit more difficult.
Yakinda pulls the ripcord just for a moment to avoid that spray. Luchov tasked with acknowledging the potential down secret. Orp spots May in towards the vent. And Luchov does depart. They're not sold on this. This is good. This is a crunch on lobby. Good work from Yuri. A nice trade back. So 4 on 4, but about the minute mark, it's Luchov versus Keisarato up next. Clean headshot. Mayen's rotation pre-aimed perfectly. Don't you dare. You peek at your own peril. Does so. DGT able to trade though. Max and DGT. Both on this A site. Peeking in, an instant deletion of the orb. Oh, it's just the 1-2. Attention drawn. DGT profits. Yakinda arrives to the scene of the crime. And they might just do it again. Same play. Playing off of each other so well. Down the vents, the play. You're right, Chad.
If he mollies behind him, he can just run in and plant, but they don't know he's down here. They're going to start understanding in a second. So molly vent, they can smoke it out and run at him.
And that's exactly what they'll do. Extinguish and charge. Yakinda, what can you do? Slam the door shut. You've got about 5 to 10 seconds to make your decision. Never mind, they swing it open. Needed that from Max. There's only 3 HP in it. He's going to be really upset when he sees just how low Max was. Brutal. A huge clutch. Makes it just a 1-round game. And you talk about momentum, Chad. Rounds like that is what builds it.
Yeah, this is starting to look a little bit like Mirage with some of the rounds. They have advantages. They walk into these stacks or setups, and you can tell that they're not expecting with the reactions when they go down.
Some unique mid-rounding out of the CT side of 9Z.
Yeah, they're not down to the beat of the drum right now. It was very fakey on the Mirage T side from Furia. Again, I was discussing the fact that the money will get whittled down quite quickly, and that has already started to unfold. Fortunately, that means the loss bonus is also ticking up with 3 consecutive rounds. Felt like Keisarado had done enough there. And does have his orb now. Molodoi the same. Oh, aggression.
Okay.
He's fighting.
You got the red.
First time.
First time, and Molodoi was not prepared for that whatsoever, and it's spiraling now. Yakinda picked up by Mayen. Trying to work, problem solve, and oh, Yuri's given him a gift. That is a golden gift. Missed shot from the AWP on top of that. Can compound now. Ramp territory lost. What's the reaction?
That's the Brazilians, the switch to Portuguese, I'm sure.
Yeah, immediately. Let's see if they can pull this one off.
That's a huge smoke from Luchov.
Yeah, he can play around it. So many different angles of approach. It gives him this angle right here. Keisarato's ready for it. DGT spotted out, not overcommitting is Yuri. Knows to play his life. Got the info. Mayen's on his way loudly. Got Wasso peak, single door. Fallen partners up with Serato, playing this clock position.
Got kids, they got to smoke.
Yuri, the contingency from ramp.
Gotta break in somehow.
Smoke on Mayan, Kit on Mayan. Wasso 2. Running that clock down. Don't you get lulled into a false sense of security, because this last second attempt on the retake's coming on through. Wasso able to chip in. It's a clutch from Serato. 3 kills deep. Again, all 5 from the Fangs. High impact from Serato, keeping Furia in it when they need him.
All right, well, they have 6 as a minimum before the time break, and I think 9Z are just going to contest these next 2. First time they've gone for anything really aggressive outside, and it was a great call. Look at this.
5v3.
That's, you know, I was talking to Poi the other day, and that's almost exactly what happened to Poi, but he was literally in the middle. He wasn't even
Makes no sense.
Right, and Mzinho just bopped him.
I could justify it or understand it easier with the tucked in the corner.
What a rally of you two. Yukinda ready to dive off of main.
Okay, you know, it's got DGT to trifle with. Will he catch him with his nade out? As he throws that incendiary, that's the cue. Yukinda takes it. First blood, no trade attempt. Or no trade potential, I should say. Bit funky around those smokes. They've got their advantage, and Yukinda will take some territory.
But we've seen them with advantages like this before,
Yes.
and they just get sat down. They tend to let the clock simmer a bit, and then by the time they activate, there's 30 seconds, and it's like nothing can go wrong, or you will lose the round. So
yeah,
they let that happen again. Maybe, just maybe, 9Z can pluck away another.
Audacious from Max. He plays it forward.
This is what I'm talking about. Again, 45 seconds, nothing's happened. They're waiting for the CTs to move.
Top util. Luchop burnt out. That's awkward. Perfect from Fallen. Finds it from the T roof. Wasso's got the angle though. Put down. Mayan back sight to 2-on-2. Here we go again. All to play for now. 9Z stabilizing. On plan B.
Come on down.
Fence. That's a death sentence. Yukinda makes it clear. You can't rotate down the vent. That's audacious.
I have to say 8-4 seems very likely, because that was only 2,400 loss coming into this final round for 9Z, suffering from their own successes as part of this comeback trail. Nowhere to go. And good output when they're on the screen, but you see immediately once they straight down the vent. All right, we don't want any of this. Let's not take the fight on their terms. Ramp rush?
It could be. Max, are you ready for this one? MP9, primed and ready. Would have loved that burst to Yukinda. Still manages to come up good. Gets himself output. Oh! Ooh, but Mayan does better. A 2-for-1 special. And Wasso's here. Yuri gone. AK in his hands. Never mind. What was that sequence? Max does well to find something. Mayan gets a little bit of lady luck on his side.
Okay, so you're having a game. You're feeling it.
He is.
Let's see if you truly are in the flow state. 1v4, heaps of time to work with. And a smoke in your face. There's more where that came from as well.
Anticipates with all that yard space that there could be that flank, but they're playing this one by the book. They've got the bomb and just one to worry about.
Now they know where he is. Re-smoke. Gonna have to play through.
Just a hope and a prayer. Couple of bullets through the smoke. 5-round CT half for 9Z. Found him. Still finds a little output, but pretty respectable half after all of things considered. It started like a flyer for Furia.
Yeah, you're gonna feel that they're less likely to let their foot off the gas as opposed to what happened on Mirage there. Still some rounds that they we're regretting. 9Z still have some fight left in them. Pistol rounds were 3-1 coming into this map. 9Z picked up their second, but the conversion's costing them, and the half that could have been those financial woes in the early stages before they really started to get the guns going. You'd have avoid the extra day of play tomorrow. Why not?
More time to optimize and review. Whoa, crazy. Fallen and Molodoy's heads lining up. Yeah. I mean, if you don't laugh, you'll cry when you go down like that.
Another on CT side, Furia. They're easier, in theory, of the halves.
In theory.
Well, in practice too.
The form that we've seen from 9Z, though, I wouldn't want to write them out of anything.
Up Molly.
Yakinda's got a lot of answers there.
Yuri just got gooshed.
Yuri in trouble. Just run down by Max. Finishes off. And, oh, Keisarato, a nice one. Quick back. Luchov and Mayan have seized the site. They get away with the plant, and the door is closed on Yakinda. DGT ready to greet. Good find from Yakinda. Pulls us back at even. Gonna put pressure onto Luchov and actually tap away another head. He's done so much work here, has Yakinda, but still onto the shoulders of Mayan in the clutch. Fallen runs him down. A 10-second defuse, not planted for him. Still, they're off it. Hoping to see Mayan overextend, and that's exactly what they get.
Very well done from Yakinda there. Those are two very tough fights. Obviously, swinging the door open and winning that first, that's where he really should have been stuffed in the choke. But it's the second. It's making sure that he slows it down and doesn't commit to the fight too haphazardly. So double there for the Latvian. Draws them up to 8. But with the bomb going down, we will see a force. Yeah, this one, just taking his time. At that point, swarm the bomb and get themselves a 4th pistol of the series. 2 Tech 9s, Mac 10 for Hwasao, and 2 Galils. See that door blown off, but is it lobby-centric? Is it outside wall smokes? Top go.
Flash and go, and the self-flash converts. Keisarato ran out of ammo, bought enough time. Molodoy arrives, as does Yeki, and they're sent back to spawn.
Nico now.
You can see a bit of a pop-off there from Fallen. I mean, just converting upon that, knowing that they invested. When you start saying, oh yeah, they had Kevlar, a little wave of relief washes over Furia's ranks.
Especially when you consider the force buy from Furia in the first half was that. Racing straight down into that A site, and Fallen got a triple kill on a Tech 9. So reflections of the first half, but Furia should be set for 10. Yeah, it's a great series from Keisarato, isn't it? I know in that last map, they were unable to convert off of his brilliance, but right now, he's continuing to put in a shift, and that is quick, that is spotless, that is clean and easy. Just 3 more rounds, securing the playoffs. Let's see if they can get there with ease, or if 9Z have another win. I wouldn't call it their second win, might be 3rd or 4th at this point.
At this point, I think you're right. Is it a windy day?
No messing about. No carrying through MP9s, just straight into the ult for Molodoy. Everyone's got head armor, there's 4 kits. This is a very strong CT buy. To start secret immediately. Okay.
It's just Luchov in yard, and he'll be tugged.
Biggest concern with these smokes is the leak into main. You can see how that's bled over.
Gonna pull Keisarato's attention for sure. Here's a go. What's the play?
Door re-smoke.
Flash. DGT. Oh, caught him as well. You can see he makes his pathing while blind. Luchov needs the double. There's Molodoy to save his teammate. They have got the A site though. It's that number advantage. Just the extra body for Furia on the way back in.
Another molly for Max. He could use that heaven after this plant. Ooh.
Fires off the shot. There is that late lobby arrival. They're coming in from every angle. This is not going to be easy. You need someone to provide that equalizing frag safely. Basso does so onto Yakinda. Messi from Fallen gets it done. Mayan's gone. It's just Max. A 1 versus 3, tapping the head onto Yuri. Pressure, they're amplifying it, just running at him, not letting him breathe, not letting him catch a breath. As a Furia 11th now posted, things are flowing, and it's still spotless on this defense.
Bomb going down, and with the loss bonus, there can be another buy that Max will be able to call with. There'll be the AKs galore. They'll have all the U2 you're hoping for. Great under pressure there in the final moments. Molotov not overstepping, being a nuisance, making sure he's there with his teammates to be able to trade out on that. Go on top again.
Ace, yeah, name of the game right now. Can you get past Yuri and Keiserato? The answer's a resounding no for the double of Yuri. He'll drop in. Nade got DGT's name all over it. Gets ahead of it. Keiserato confirms. Gap is closed. Pressure now with the molly back sight. How do they handle this? Not well. Keiserato and Yuri collapse to the spray of DGT. One back from Molodoi is a big one.
2v2. Fallen's out.
Cheeky underneath him. Trades easy. Luchov in the clutch in the 1v1. Molodoi last seen main, and he's actually anticipated this exact move. Read him like a book. Too easy, just booked, and a nice start to their campaign.
Good poise from 9Z, right? They lose 2 players to Yuri up on the rafters, but then once they get out that door and have the space, that moment of poise to throw the molly back sight does make things a lot easier for DGT. To see there's no real room for them to stand. And Molotov trying to keep up the intensity, just assumes the plant's going to come through. There's still money for Furia as well. They lose this one. 9Z can start working on a comeback. Into aggressive yard. Support a Molotov who does have a HE to help outside if there is a smoke wall. It's in the air right now.
He's got the nade break. Does completely book Luchov on that one, even putting bullets into Wasso. Peak puts him onto 49 as they will scarper across. Oh, more damage onto Wasso. Last bullet as he rounded the corner, so it's 3.5 men.
Well, they're much quicker than Molotov anticipates.
Yeah, you're right.
Much quicker.
Yeah, he's already in the blind spot. It's an easy pickup for DGT. A bit of a misplay from Molodoi. Fallen. Spotted. Drops in. Oh my god, a kamikaze from Fallen. Yeki loses his head. It's Wasso on it. And now a really uncomfortable retake for the two Fangs. Yuri and Keiserato, 30 frags between them, and it's Keiserato that's doing the heavy lifting. Can Yuri find an important one? He can. With Max gone, DGT's position now noted on the taps. Double swing. There's Yuri again. It's just
so
up to Wasso. He's been tagged up by Yakinda. Is 6 HP, 1v2, really realistic. They have overlooked the possibility. Keiserato's looking elsewhere, and that was the healthy member. Wasso's got one step.
Backside plant, just sit it.
Oh, he wouldn't dare.
No kit.
He wouldn't dare. No kit. Oh, and just enough time.
He's going to pick it up. This is going to be close.
I'm not sure. Is it a comeback for 9Z? Or is it 12 for Furia? That is huge.
Well, had a couple of those throughout this series. Go back to Mirage. It was 9Z, the ones coming out on the nail-biter defuses, a buzzer beater, a 6th round gap, a 12th round secure, and one more away from those playoffs.
Oh, that's a massive round to actually convert there. We were talking about Keiserato's performances, but Yuri with 3 on the way back in. Massive work.
GT's crosshair was in the right place. Oh, looks to make a bit of a move. Flash behind him. He's going to push.
On the fade, a flash behind him. Smoke walls are up as it stands. There's a couple of HE breaks. You can hear him on yard. No one's made it across, though.
No, and they're util very limited now. Punish of the squeaky door smoke. It's extremely difficult to see how they meant to whir into this. Limited space.
Molodoi susceptible to the pre-aim of Max here. Ooh, does very well. Finds himself the headshot. Keiserato overlooked. A wide swing from Luchov. 9Z counting on these three. They want to see another round of play. Yuri, a bit of a contingency here. You can see him hiding up towards Mustang. This is powerful. Yeki back sight. Gets the jump spot onto Mayan as well, so now that's gonna bait them in perfectly. You're not clearing Yuri. 2 more to go. And Fury are off to the playoffs. Huaso and DGT disagree. Wait, Heaven Plant. No cover. Huaso's a free frag. Molodoi will pluck it from the pack. Now DGT! Oh, we can hit it. 1 bullet would do it. Molodoi's in trouble. What do you do? Respect the flames. Strafes away. 1 HP versus 14. Playoffs at stake. Relocation from Molodoi. DGT just looks away. Timing the name of the game. That's game. Playoffs secured.
65 kills over the series for K Serrato. A standout performance in the last 2 maps, but that'll secure it for Furia.
Yeah, Fury, go ahead and lock it in right there, and that is the step forward that they were looking to take against 9Z when they loaded into the server. I can assure you that much. The Group D upper bracket semifinal has been decided. It is Furia going into the playoffs. And Jacob, how about those apples, buddy?
How about those apples? There was a good performance coming out for Furia here. Nuke again spoke about the game so far, had been very streaky on both the first 2 maps. 9C on the second map, Furia on the first map. You know, we talk about these rounds where you win 7, 8 rounds out of 10, and Furia were able to do that as the first team in this game. With a very strong T-side, Peter, they laid the foundation for what ended up being a clear-cut victory on Nuke. I was a little bit surprised that the game wasn't closer, but gotta give it to Furia. They played well here.
Yeah, it's a pistol round. So again, comes down haunting 9C a little bit here, and just there's still stuff that needs to be ironed out before you can make it like even more competitive against these type of teams, you know. And it's again also the clutch situation that just seems to be playing better on the side of Furia. And Case Router had a massive game again, and you know he's always one you want to be turning to when you play these massive tournaments. Like if he can show up in the fashion he's doing in this specific game, then you're definitely set.
And it's not even just Case Router showing up statistically, right? Like we're talking about impact. Yep. He's felt in the server when he gets in there and he's able to activate and be a tool for the team. From
a team perspective as well for Furia, it's a great way of winning Nuke, because one of the biggest issues I saw on Mirage was the lack of cohesion, the lack of synergy between the players, especially in the retake scenarios involving the A-bomb side. I feel here Nuke, all players were gelled well together. Very good trading, very good spacing. In general, they made the playing field very tough for 9C. In order for them to win rounds, individuals from 9C would have to, you know, do more than was expected from them. They would have to get 2 kills in a scenario where it was not likely to get 2 kills. And that's down to Furia making the playing field and really using the spacing and using the bodies in the game to their own advantage. So as much as I disliked what I saw from Furia at stages on Mirage, I gotta give it to them. They turned it around here in Nuke and looked like the team that we know they can be.
Yeah, they looked in control throughout Nuke, and that's good sign right moving forward. Now they've locked in playoffs as well, and let's just be honest, it would have been quite the disaster to have yet another of the elite teams dropping into the lower qualifier, so the lower bracket, right, with the facts of Mouse being there now. You also have Vitality, and you also have Spirit, right? So you know it would have been pretty ridiculous.
And we have Yakinder. I say we. I mean Freya does. What's up?
I do indeed, yes. Congratulations, Yakinder. Furia now through to the playoffs. Took a little bit more time than maybe we anticipated after what was a pretty fast map 1. What are your initial emotions after knowing you've made top 16 at least?
Yeah, I mean, of course, the basic minimum is done, and it feels, of course, nice. It feels also nice that this was, in our eyes, like a confident run. Mirage was a little bit unlucky in some moments. I feel like in key situations we kind of forgot some things we agreed on, and that's why it was kind of couldn't close it in a way. But Nuke was very comfortable, super performance from Caserato, and everybody looking sharp, and that's the main good thing.
Yeah, let me, if you don't mind, dive into that Mirage just a little bit more, because it was the opposite way around from last time we saw you at the Cologne Major as well. Was it just down to you guys, in your opinion, you guys making mistakes, or did 9Z switch up anything to catch you off guard?
Well, last time against them we lost this too, and I feel like we've done a big amount of work on the map, and we had an opportunity to maybe ban this to kind of leave Ancient open and whatever to for this game, but we decided that the only way to become better on a map is to actually play it a lot. And we gave ourselves this opportunity to play the Stu today, and I'm glad we won it.
Final question, just looking forward to that top 16. We obviously have seen Falcons, Mouse, G2, today Na'Vi making it to top 16. We've got Vitality and Spirit still battling it out in their lower bracket games respectively. How do you rank Furia amongst the teams that have already made it? Where are you placing yourselves?
I feel like the season is so young that you can't really tell form of the teams. And for example, before Cologne Major, I wouldn't say that we were like contenders or like finalists in theory. So I feel like any team can surprise, and any team is strong enough nowadays in CS to beat anybody. And I feel like the team who's gonna have a better day is just gonna take it all.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Once again, congratulations to Furia. That is top 16 at the bare minimum here at the Esports World Cup.
Yeah, the 2026 King of Content, that's him, Yakinder. If you should go check out his Instagram. He's doing some pretty wild stuff over there, and by that I mean just a lot of effort. Jacob, you look perturbed, man. What did the guy say?
I mean, nothing. That was
We did say something.
Kind of the issue. Now, I get where Yakinder is coming from. You know, Counter-Strike these days is a lot about the day-to-day form, as you like
I forgot about that one.
to call it. But I think it's fair that Yakinder is being honest with himself and honest with Furia. They are one of the favorites still. They're not the favorite to win the tournament, but they're still in contention to be, you know, making it to the semifinals, to maybe even make the final like they did in Cologne. And as he said, you know, this season is young, but it's not like you forget how to play Counter-Strike over the course of a 2-week break. So they're still one of the teams we expect a lot from. And, you know, I get it. From Yakinder, you just want to put away the pressure. There's no need to talk yourself up or say something that you may regret later on, so I'll do it for you. Yes, Furia should be super disappointed if they're not making top 8 or maybe even top 4.
Well, that's happened before. I recall this is not the first time that Furia have this kind of idea that they downplay themselves a little bit. I don't know if it's like a mental aspect they want to be throwing out that, hey, we're not really feeling that great, you know, like we're just playing, just like with Molotov I said in the opening interview, like we're just like feeling it out right now with the whole idea of Fallen retiring soon. So I don't know, maybe it's just, you know, maybe they're just being smarter than their opponents.
Yeah, maybe they're more of a vibes team. Maybe we're just unaware of what they're doing over there. Clearly Furia having found success there, so did Queserado. Good clutch and lower really early on in the first half.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, again, we gotta jump back to one of the reasons to why Fury also saw this one coming their way, and it is just again Queserado showing again that he can be such a massive player. We talked about Jury, how good he can be in clutching, but the beauty of it is that Queserado can do the exact same. You know, it was actually a 2v4 turning into a 1v1, and just the way that he isolates the duels here is just very important. Also, the fact that this is the third round. You know, if they would have won this one, there's a chance that 9C can run away with the economy, the momentum. So a very important clutch to get in their favor already.
Great way of crowning a great series overall for Queserado. Played well on Dust 2, played well on Mirage, came in here on Nuke, as you said, Peter, found even more impact. He's up there in the conversations to be, you know, when he one day retires, you know, I think the way you evaluate his career is that he's just been Mr. Consistent for all these years. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether Furia is in a good period or in a bad period. He even had 3 years where they didn't do anything.
And he was still good.
And he was still good, you know, still playing at the same level. So he's almost unaffected by his surroundings, and having a player like that in your team is so vital and so important for Furia. Not only to find consistency, but also to be one of the teams that we speak about that can potentially win trophies for the remaining of the season.
Now, interestingly enough, that wasn't the end of the road for 9Z. Clearly one of the teams that we've put on a radar here that is making waves, if not ruptures, at that. But we can take a look at the brackets, or the bracket.
Are we going to look at Group D now?
Wow, you've nailed that right on the head.
Yeah.
Speaking of D, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's my favorite group and arguably my favorite letter in the alphabet. Now, Pain Gaming, not really looking too sharp in their game against Wildcard, but they got the job done, which means they're facing the Mongols in that lower bracket game for a spot in the playoff, and then 9C versus Magic. Maybe a bit of a surprise that Magic were able to beat 3D Max. Maybe not too big of a surprise, but doing it in a 2-0 fashion. I thought 3D Max was going to come in here at home turf and do a little bit more.
It's like, the thing with Magic, you know, in all honesty, I haven't been paying too much attention about it, but if you ask about people that watch a lot of their games, you know, they actually play some very solid Counter-Strike, so not surprising. I mean, I think 9C should get the better of them. I think 9C has proven and shown that they can be good enough to make top 16 here, so I would be very surprised if they don't win that one. And then, you know, Mongols Pain, I don't know where to put that one. You know, it seems to be a bit of a a bit of a confusing matchup in my
I'll
book.
try that again for you, Peter. I'm not going to sugarcoat it whatsoever. 9C, they have to beat Magic. We're talking about a team that is currently, 4 in VIS? You know, Cologne quarterfinalist, won a trophy in China a couple of weeks ago. If 9C is not winning that game, not making the playoff at a 16-team playoff, that would be disappointing. The Mongols have to beat Pain Gaming as well. You and I probably agree with that, Peter. I don't think I've ever seen Pain Gaming being this uninspiring, to be completely honest. It's not a good time right now to be a Pain Gaming fan. It's quite painful, to be quite honest. So I see two clear-cut favorites in that game. Trace.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, you did.
He's good. And you don't give him a lot of credit, Free, but I'm just going to say it. We can go ahead and switch to Group A. I think it's about that time. Also, a really close game going on the B stream. But here is Group A, and this is in context of what we're about to look at. That's because Big will be taking on Spirit as our last game of the day for this side of things. And that's right, Spirit down there in the lower bracket after having taken an L earlier on at GG How in the best-of-1 format.
It is quite surprising, right, to see them there. But then again, you know, with what we saw against GG How, I don't think Spirit has literally showed up at this tournament yet. I even feel like the game against Luminati was, you know, pretty lackluster. I mean, like, Donk is doing what he can, right? But the rest of the team that doesn't really been showing, specifically Shiro, which is usually his, you know, his sidekick to be, you know, pulling him over the finishing line. So I mean, coming into this game now that we do get to talk more about Big and Spirit, I'm not worried for Spirit. But then again, you know, if Big shows up and plays like their absolute A game, I think there's also a possibility.
I just feel for Big, you know, it's GG How ruining their night, you know.
Everyone's night. Just the fact that you put Spirit in a lower bracket, you know, that ruins for everyone that drops the map, right?
I mean, potentially. Guys, there's that, and there's actually so much more to talk about. But obviously, we have to do our due diligence. We have to figure out where that break timeline is. So I appreciate you guys. I really do. I love where you're going.
Really want to get at it.
Just really think that we need to go to a break. That's the only way that we can get the game started here. Thank you so much, Jacob Pimp Winesh. We're ready to jump into that break, which means Big and Spirit are on the other side, and Jacob Pimp Winicki.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
It might be all she wrote here on Mirage.
I pointed out that they dropped the bomb, but yeah, he literally said to me like, they don't need it.
But you're right. You are firmly right. They took 1 point of damage in that whole execute. 1 point. Donnie, that is an impressive showing if you're Aurora. A 13-6 on GG How's map pick.
So impressive, I had to sprint my way right back here. I started walking, I was taking a nice leisurely time, and those last couple of rounds caught me off guard. Look, taking care...
were there. For every click, every clutch, every respawn. We were there for the years of grind, and we're here. Now, the proud founding partner of EWC, powering the biggest event in gaming, shoulder to shoulder with the world's best, making history. Greatness deserves a stage. Lenovo Legion, reach your impossible.
Group A lower bracket semifinal. Spirit are the overwhelming favorite on paper, but both teams arrive with reasons to question the simple ranking story itself. Let me welcome you back to the Esports World Cup Club Championships, where we're about to witness big take on Spirit for a playoff qualification or bust.
Yeah, mega important game for both teams. There's eight for Big. This is a golden opportunity of not only securing a spot in the playoff, but also gaining some very heavy VIS points and really a good standing in that whole system. Whereas for Team Spirit, Peter, if they were to lose this game, I feel like we aren't ringing the alarm bells just yet, but we're slowly but surely starting to. If they lose too big here, don't make the playoff, don't make top 16, we're talking about a team that really could be in danger.
Both yes and no. I mean, they did make grand finals at Pubg. You know, they did start off the season pretty well, right?
Sure.
I know they looked flat against Mouse, and yeah, they lost to GG How, right? But this should still, in theory, be a game that Spirit should not be able to lose, regardless of how things turn out. I mean, like, I know that I'm usually positive talking about the teams that go up against, the elite teams, and that they will always have a chance. But I don't see anyone inside Big that can go toe-to-toe with Dunk. And I think that Spirit will just also have a lot of opportunities to go in a lot of directions within the map pool to where they can get an advantage.
See, that's the luxury, because I agree with you to some degree. To me, it's not the results necessarily for Team Spirit, because as you said, like a grand final to begin the season, not too shabby. The major wasn't too bad either, you know. That was a very close game against Falcons. They could have made it further at that major. It's the way they've been playing. It's the way they lost to GG How. It's the way they won against Luminosity, and people may think, well, they won 2-0. Yeah. Watch that game. That was not a good game of Counter-Strike for Team Spirit.
Not on Dust 2 at least.
Not on Dust 2 at least, you know. And then you move in against Big now, who I very much agree with you. This should be a landslide. This should be an easy game. This should be 9 out of 10 times you run all over Big, and 1 out of 10 times you have a close game. So I feel like there's a lot of pressure on Spirit right now. Janko posed a pretty good question earlier this morning as well, with Heli, Softic, the coaching behind them as well. I feel like we're starting to see a Spirit that is either going to make it or break it. And I think this game could be very telling in what kind of direction they're going.
It could very well be an indicator, without a doubt. I mean, just to focus on the Big side a little bit more exclusively here, since Blame F has joined this lineup, and I know you guys as Danes probably okay with talking about this.
We're fine.
Talk to me about him and joining this lineup and then its evolution. Where are we right now?
I think when you look at Blame F, let's just be honest. Most people, they don't like how he plays, right? Because he is a guy that, sometimes seems to be putting himself in front of the team to make himself look great. But there is no doubt that since Blame F have taken over the incoming reins of Tapson, they have just looked better. Let's be honest. Like, he brings firepower, he probably brings structure, and he brings, dedication. He's a guy that's very dedicated to his work ethic is definitely up there. And I'm sure that has spread throughout the team. And it's also a team, he came into the major saying that they look very good. They seem to be very happy with all the roles. Like, the roles are very set. And everyone in the team knows exactly what to be expected of them. And I think that's a very good sign for you as a team. But then again, is it going to be enough once you make it into the top invites of becoming into the Tier 1 events? Is it going to be enough when you don't have the star players, all the people that's going to carry you over the finish line? Or is it going to be, that's still where I'm left with where if Blame F contribution is enough for the team. Is it going to be enough in the long run? Or is they just going to be, stagnating at this level where they are right now?
There's only so much you can do, though, right? I truly feel like with the state of Danish Counter-Strike right now, which has never been worse off, Peter. You should come back and you'd instantly be a top 3 player in Denmark, because there's no good players around anymore, to be completely honest. Blame F is one of those few players who's still keeping it real. He's still trying his absolute best. You look at who he's playing with. He joined a big project who were nowhere to be found.
That's what I mean.
They were on the way to be completely irrelevant, and now he slowly but surely built them up. Remember them during the major in Cologne as well. They did way better than people thought would have been possible. They come back as well, and Mirage being down 12-0, and all of a sudden coming back into that game. I feel like there's more positives coming out of Big than there's negatives.
Sure.
But there's only so much you can do if you're playing if you're playing with the players he's playing with. And that's not to say that the likes of Tapson, JDC, you name it, are bad players, are Fabian for that matter, but they're not players. They're not a team where I expect them to be top 10. I think where they're at right now is pretty admirable. That's a decent place to be at, getting invites to some of the decent tournaments, you name it. As you can see on the trending as well, it is going in the right direction. It's not like Bitcoin. It's not like the oil prices at the moment, Trace. It's actually looking quite decent for Big.
Well, hold on, what did BTC do to get a little straight in there?
Come on.
It's been a tough relationship in that regard. All I'm saying is, Blame F in Big so far, he's made them better. If he gets better players around him, I'm sure Blame F can do more.
But then again, okay, do you realistically think that Big would be able to attract players that is better than what they have right now?
No,
or is it,
absolutely
Or
not.
is it more of a case that if Big continues the upwarding trend that they have right now, then their players will start getting poached?
No.
Don't you think that's going to be the case? Then,
No.
What are they left at?
Well, Tapson's been around for forever. Fabian has been around for forever. JDC has been around for forever. Griggs is maybe the only one where we don't know the true potential. I'll be honest, Big is doing a good job at what they're doing right now. But if you look at the roster, where's the player that all of a sudden is going to elevate himself? Where's the player that all of a sudden is going to put a 0.1 to his rating on average and elevate that team? I feel like we get the most out of what they have to work with right now. And I'll be honest, unless some German talent comes up, maybe they have to start look elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, just as a reminder, this is a playoff qualification match, not a theoretical mismatch. This is where these two teams are stature-wise. For the side of Spirit is where we flip it to. I know that we'd love to talk about Big, but truthfully, Spirit aren't necessarily in the most prettiest of situations we've seen them in either.
No, and I hate it for the sake of Big. I actually like them a lot. I think Big have done a great job. I think Blame F have done a great job as well already, highlighted. But this matchup, Peter, against Team Spirit, even as we described it, right? They're not looking necessarily too great in their games, but it's not that bad either. And even if Spirit is showing up with a B game or C game, that should still be enough to beat Big. So I almost feel sorry for the Big clan right now. They're up against a team that there should be no way to beat in a best of 3.
It's not fun, going out against Spirit in the lower bracket, knowing that if you lose this, then you're out, right? And ever since Spirit lost to GG Hao, everyone's just been thinking, I mean, obviously the result is bad, but then they're still gonna make it, right? Not having Spirit in a top 16, that would be a pretty bad result for them. And I think my big question and what I actually just want to see from this specific game is that I know what Donk brings and I know what Shiro can bring, but I'm still left in a question mark regarding the last 3 players. I want to see either Suntix or Tenir having one of those games where you're thinking, okay, that's the third star. That's the guy that you want to be relying on when the 2 others are either having a mediocre game or when something is missing. And I think that sometimes seems to be the issue. And then, sure, you also have a little bit with the coaches and everything, with Tofik coming in and Halley now taking more like an overview. He's want to give his players more freedom. Like, where's the system at for Spirit right now? That's my big question. They seem to be going a little bit in multiple directions right now.
It's the fact that the Dunk show hasn't been enough. It's the fact that we've seen Dunk play well so far this tournament. I think Freya
always plays well.
Always plays well. Freya asked him, how do you find your personal form at the moment? And Dunk is satisfied, but he would rather win with his team, etc. And it goes back to this old conversation that we always had. How much do they rely on Dunk's individual level to be a good team? Well, seemingly at this tournament so far, again, small sample size, don't want to make any sensations just yet, but he's playing well, and they're still looking to be struggling a little bit. So I agree with you, Peter. There's more than one issue at hand right now for Team Spirit, and against an opponent like Big, I mean, if you're Tenir, if you're Suntix, you should be able to establish a bit of dominance. You should be able to farm some confidence, Trace.
How about the Shiro side of things? In terms of an elite firepower with an AWP, as it's been prescribed, he's had some woeful experiences here. Hasn't necessarily gone the most fun of routes for him. But in terms of input in the server, what does he need?
I'm not worried at Shiro at all. I took a liberty of going and looking at some of his stats, and he has, I wouldn't say periods, that's wrong, but he had maybe a series or 2 back-to-back where he just seemed to be not present, and I think that's what we're seeing. So I don't think this is untraditional for the likes of Shiro, but sure, against Yao, we looked completely out of it, right?
Yeah.
Sort of dropped the ball a little bit, and you also had a couple of instances when they played Luminosity where he would just miss uncharacteristic shots and just not really being the shooter that we know. But I know, and I've played against him, I've watched him play so much that I know what he brings to Spirit, and he is a very stable operator, and he can be one of the reasons to why he has also elevated the team. So I'm not worried at all for Shiro.
It's funny how recency bias works in Counter-Strike. A month and a half ago, Peter, you and I were talking about Shiro, playing well at the major, now also stepping up in playoff games, and that's the new look of the new Shiro, taking it a step further, and then he has 1.5 bad games here, and we're talking about, is there a potential crisis with Shiro? I'm with you. I think Shiro is a fantastic AWP player. I think he's a fantastic Counter-Strike player, and he's, at the very least, the GG How game, that was the anomaly, right? Making
That's what it is.
The amount of mistakes and being caught off guard. Even if he's having a game where he's not hitting his shots, he's never really making too glaring mistakes, and I expect that to be the old Shiro showing up today.
Yeah, the old Shiro show. Perhaps that's what we're looking for, because, it left a lot to be desired at some points. Of course, this lineup does a little bit as well, and I'm only saying that in terms of what we've already broached on a little bit in the coaching department for Spirit. Why is that being circulated? Why is that an idea right now about Holly potentially not hanging around?
Well, it's because they were doing so well when Softic came in, right? And he seemingly changed a bit of the approach within Team Spirit. One thing was the utility usage that he got a lot of credit for. Another one was Tenia, arguably playing a little bit better under the leadership of Softic. Again, could that be random? Could that be just the period where he was feeling comfortable? Or did he specifically work with Tenia? It's tough to say for certain, but I think Peter was onto something when you described that we need the third star of this lineup to step it up and establish himself as being that player. And I think if Tenia is not up for that, if he's not going to find any more consistency, if he's not going to elevate his level of gameplay, I think the talent pool within the CIS region of Counter-Strike is so strong that at some point they'll start to wonder, should we give another guy a try?
And, it also just like when you look at Falcons or look at Vitality, they have those three guys that shows up pretty much every single series and bring it, bring up the firepower and bring all the qualities that we sometimes might be lacking.
Well, Peter, I think it's time we bring the ruckus in the form of a veto. There are a couple things here that might overlap, but at least I'm thinking it's an ancient.
Yeah, potentially. I think both teams are willing to float, potentially play cash as well. If I'm Big Peter, why not go for it? Why not try to bring out a map where, Spirit have played it a little bit, but it's a new, uncommon ground and maybe a bit inconsistent.
Yeah, and with you actually get to see the fact that Big does go with cash, and it's a map that they have been willing to play, and it's fun to look at because it's one of those single teams that actually plays all 7 maps. So they actually turn their attention and spread out the resources to have a hopefully wider map pool, but maybe not as narrowed down to be as good. So cash in there, in the fact, and then not notoriously we do get to see Dust 2 from Spirit. That has just always been like the map they always feel like going back to when they turn their attention to Vito. So not a big surprise.
No big surprise in that regard. I think the Dust 2 pick makes sense for Spirit. I like the fact that Big are picking cash. If anything, as an underdog team, Spirit have played the map a little bit, but you're not going to be consistently playing well at cash in the beginning every single time. There's always going to be new ways of countering each other, new metas, you name it, and that's how it develops when a new map is coming in.
And it also, it just speaks into maybe that Big find themselves a little bit of an underdog in this. Well, rightfully so, right? They need to try and challenge and test if Spirit can actually play cash.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, we have one map left here. Obviously, with Mirage still in there, I mean, the conversation around Ancient, we've begun that a little bit. So let's see. What is that third map?
I think we're left with... Okay, I actually was going to say we're left with Ancient, but that's not the case.
Mirage,
but we got cash
coming in there.
nice.
We get cash, we get Dust 2, and then I guess we'll have to wait with Mirage until tomorrow.
That is just a strong prediction right there. You thought you were going to play it off like that, but speaking of play, let me tell you about our EWC play match pick'ems. That's right. At some point, I'm going to have to tell you and remind you, and that's going to be right. It's going to be right now. Check out this QR code. I've asked you a couple times. I might as well ask you one more time. You might even hear me say it again tomorrow. But in this moment, just scan the QR code. Let us know who you think is going to win, because it's about the time where we get the game on itself. I'd ask these guys, but really, I think you've heard them yap enough. So let's do this thing. Let's get this game on. Let's see if Spirit can push Big around.
It's that big Spirit game that everyone's been talking about. There are playoffs on the line right now as Team Spirit and Big get ready to clash on cash in this best of 3. Lower bracket indeed. Saw a shaky Spirit on day 1, lost to GG How in a best of one. And to be honest, Harry, I'd like to say that they came back stronger and they looked better in that BO3, but they barely limped over Luminosity on Dust 2, and that is their pick in the series today. I don't know what to expect from Spirit, but you know that Big are feeling fancy for an upset.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's this inescapable feeling that for Spirit, it's kind of time to lock the hell in and show the level that you've come to expect from this team, right? I think they've been very underwhelming across this EWC, and I feel like they know it too. See, before this game, Donksel smiles at least, which might give you a bit of a positive sign. But yeah, they're up against a Big that have been grinding, a Big that have been getting better, and slowly but surely gaining more and more attention. A Big that are making moves in the right direction. Thinking back to some of their games at the Major even, hell, they had some ludicrous matches. And you know the one I'm talking about more than any other. The big old comeback. But this is a resilient team, a team that's on the rise, a team that's trending upwards, one that you can't underestimate if you're Team Spirit, especially in the form they've been in here in EWC.
Yeah, and continuing off of the Open Qualifier, where these other Open Qualifier teams have kind of fallen flat on their face to a degree. You look at 100 Thieves, obviously eliminated as well. And GG How, who are not far away from that fate. K27 also lost to MIBR pretty clean. So by the end of this game, Big maybe the only one surviving, or will they join the fate of the three other Open Qualifier squads as Team Spirit, heavy favorites, rank 1 VRS team in the world right now, absolutely have to show up. It's really hard to know what we're going to get, but with Cash in our not-so-distant future, that's
cool.
A lot of fun.
Like, the fact that we're going to Cash first.
Yeah, 2 games logged for Spirit, right? 1 online, 1 on LAN. 50-50. Too early to know, but a loss to FaZe, who have clearly tried to put it in their map pool. And of course, Big, 3 out of 4 wins. We saw them against Aurora in that opener. Really well-called game, to be honest, from Blame F. And 1 loss to G2 just the other day here in EWC. So, still a good track record for Big. Let's see if they can take on the big boys of Spirit.
All right, we got a T-side start for Big.
Ooh, didn't catch Favin up close, but it's fine.
Well, you remember my big prediction for Spirit day 1 of the tournament? I said I think Tanier's going to have a good tournament. They would love to have access to him today. Donk, there's a lot of guys coming his way out towards middle, and it's Tabson ripping his head off. So Donk gone from this pistol. Tanier followed up on 2, and Tabson's getting cheeky with it. Put this man back on Cash, and he's loving it.
You're joking. That's a ridiculous jump shot from the back of the site.
You know, this is an old boys map, Hugo.
That's true. Spirit don't have that experience necessarily, right? Certainly on most of these players would not have been playing professionally, or just weren't. Back in 2019, Shiro was kind of on the come up. Donk was nowhere to be seen.
A child, I think, is the...
It's a better way of putting it. But, you know, on paper, a lot of reasons that Spirit should like this map. And with the Instaban being so clear, they were never going to avoid it. Full execute here for Big. Triple smoke comes down. Spirit do block main, but Big is still coming through.
Oh, rough for Tanier. Haven't able to get past him and into this stack, sure, but you need these deagles to hit something. Shiro.
So like 5-7 would have been better there.
And so that's Magix and Zontic saving, you imagine.
We see a lot of different type of executes, right, on this map, with it being re-added with the skyboxes, you know, allowing anything over A. But that's a cool one for Big. You know, 2 backside smokes, isolate those players, no support, because that's the thing about Cash. You're going to get really quick rotates. And one thing that we've seen a lot of these Cash games here at EWC is teams aren't really playing for middle on the CT side. They're getting their util in. Occasionally they'll go for a counter boost. They'll do something up close with SMGs. But for the most part, it's one guy mid, get the nades in, get out, reinforce your bomb sites. Use mid for information only. And so With those smokes from Big, that rotate completely cut off. Clean entries, finds a 5 alive round.
I'd certainly argue that that kind of mirrors, you know, what we used to see from Cash back in the day, right? Like mid kind of an access point, but you don't really want to end your round in this, like through this position. You go there, you take a bit of space, but then you have your eyes set on an exec or something of the sort.
In the words of Henry G,
you can't plant in mid.
That's true. Many have tried. We've had a Spirit player drop from the server.
I see admins over Shiro's shoulder.
He's back in. We're back live. Big believing at the start of this game, getting a little 3-0 run before the guns come out. Just an overwhelming hit there. Spirit have a good bit of utility.
All right, little run boost, do like that. Get you up for a mid-peak that much faster. This has kind of been Tabson's game thus far, and he's got pistols out in front of him over here towards B.
Well, he saw Magics there for a second, but holding vent with a bit of cover.
Hugo, you know me, I'm not our B lurker, but there's this little spam spot right over here. Would it get Zontix, or does he have to be further back by the barrel?
Yeah, further
right?
left.
Okay, yeah. So you do just have to go and clear that. He's got Molly, he's got util, and Big are in no rush. Tabson just holding the extremities for a push, gonna lob in a bit of util over here towards B. And this will keep the attention of Team Spirit on the wrong side of the map.
No Big are going to have some good grenades in their repertoire here. Spirit are certainly hedging their bets, though, and they seem to be onto something. Triple B, staying in place. Heaven Smoke, or CT, still figuring that out. It looks like a Heaven Smoke. CT's already down.
All right, they're going into the stack, but they got this vent split, and that is going to blindside the hold. Oof. Nothing done for Team Spirit.
Right. The smoke, not a problem.
Tabson, he's loving it.
Dude, they are looking
absolutely loving it.
These two or three hits really we've seen. There's no space for any of these CTs, right? Big are all side by side on this hit. They timed that very well. Just overwhelming numbers on their bomb sites.
There's a
I feel
reason.
like Spirit are going to have to make some kind of play here coming into gun rounds.
There's a reason they call him Big Cash Money Tabson. 6-0, right off the rip.
They get a kill? No. Big have not lost a player in 3 rounds. 0 kills for Team Spirit coming into their first buy. That's got to feel good. Orbs out for Shiro. What's happening in mid? Donk gets a smoke in and quickly departs. No one on that highway box nade. Donk comes back in from car side. Big with their second HE, and Donk will eat that. Ouch. Well, hey, if you know Donk's going to be here, not a bad place to throw your nades. Vent boost denied with that. Zontix each one as well. This is excellent utility. 4 HEs thrown by Big, 2 players at half.
They are learning to hate the Big utility very, very quickly. You said it yourself, you know, when you got Big in the server, they're going to have some creative ideas. There's a third nade onto the highway, and Donk decides, I'm done playing this position.
All HEs now used for Big. I'd say very worth it. But now they've got to group and go for this hit, and they're doing the same thing as the last round. Coming out middle, going for a vent split. No support from Donk. He's got to guess the right site here.
He is making his way over. Looking to end up in the right place. Still, Zontix in this forward position.
Hello?
Double cleared. They weren't ready for Donk. He just gets a shooting gallery. 3 players out in the open. Sure, he's going to burn. but it's given Team Spirit a fighting chance in the round. You're looking at BlameF and Grix. And with Blame holding on for this vent rotation, he gets the kill he's waiting for.
And if you're Donk, you're just wondering, what more do I need to do, really? No one gets a single kill in their position. Donk comes out with 3 frags. Shura's showing us angles we've never seen before, but none of them will let him back in the round. In fact, they're hunting this AWP as well, so got to be very, very careful here. Luckily, Blame's got backup highway, so Shura looks like he'll survive. But I think they know where he is. Oh, oh God. Not a reassuring start. Big clearly looking well prepped to start this game. Just the fact that their whole first gun round is just, we're going to use 5 HEs and nobody's going to die before we've done that. And sure, they kind of overlooked Donk, surprisingly, considering mid was empty. Where is that third player? Where is that rotation player? But even a triple kill in B doesn't stop Big. All right, Spirit, it's time for someone else to get a kill.
Yeah.
Full block, 4 CTs here, 5th on the way.
All right, surely someone else from Spirit gets on the board now. Donk again bullied by Util. Oh, Donk with a multi-kill, doing everything.
That's got to be enough, man.
Zontix, are they going to clear him?
Oh,
yes,
God.
they do. Now, look, some people say that Spirit can feel like a bit of a one-man army at times. Never show them this scoreboard.
This is crazy.
Make sure no
isn't
one
it?
ever sees this.
Dude, I mean,
And we're 5 rounds in, but
no, it is too good to be.
everyone's like had a chance, let's say.
Yeah, you could say that. That was into a full stack with HE on the main smoke. Donk's on 30 health before he sees someone. How the hell? Like, you can laugh at the other players having trouble, but how does he get 3 kills again? How does he do it? Still different, man. Donk 6 and 5. Everyone else 0. And Big, they're going into stacks and they are getting out easily.
And dude, you can see like the comfortability, right? These executes have been brutal. The idea that you're bringing players down to 30 HP, 40 HP in your exec before you even have to fire a bullet is just massive for Big.
Grix's AWP is out now. We're seeing an attempt at mid-control here for Spirit. Donk boosting Magics up over Sandbags. He's going to play close to the vent. Bit of spam for Big. I'm aware there could be an AWP pre-flashing the B side.
This is a bit more of a standard CT setup too. You go for the double mid control, get a player in the vent, so you got that faster B rotation, and then it kind of frees Donk up to roam over towards A. Now you almost get to play 2-3 on each of these bomb sites, and you still have eyes on mid to react.
Yeah. Big, just look how... Okay, Blame looks into the flash, but the fact that they're flashing
exactly, it's
yeah,
good.
They're so methodical. Not as pretty as maybe you would have hoped, but no punish here. Late highway nades again. Donk is a little further back, but he still takes 30. One more. It does miss. Donk gets out for now. Molly pushes Magics back to B. They can't catch him on his reroutes. Grix has the line. The Spirit smoke it out. 30 seconds, Big. You're going to have to go back into this B split.
Magic's here. Problem is, like, Zontix has been in that position every single time they've gone B, and so they check for it.
All right, Zontix needs a multi-kill here.
Someone else is on the board. Zontix with the first. Now they know where he is. They start to give chase, and Grix has got the cover. Donk dead in rotation. BlameF backstab. Bomb crossing in with 10 seconds left. And there's just enough time to get it down. Grix holding on for this wrap round. And Big still flawless at 6-0.
It's a beautiful game out of Big. You've got to be loving everything you're seeing if you're a Big fan right now. They are playing these rounds down to the final 30, doing some really nice executes. The util is great. The trading is fine. There's nothing going wrong now for Big. Grix hitting his shots as well. Just an excellent beginning. Spirit are going to start making plays. They've been very passive in this CT side, right? But I think Big have proven that if you give them the room, they're going to abuse it.
Yeah, not only that, like, eventually you need a kind of out-of-the-box idea here. If you just play these standard rounds, as we've now seen 6 times over, Big are more than ready to deal with it. Right, we said going into that last one, it's a bit of a standard mid-take. You get a player in the vent. Big have all the util to deal with that. They're not worried about the standard plays. You kind of have to try and catch them off balance here.
I mean, Big are aware of this as well. Look, their Blame is holding the boost in
middle. They brought more people over to get naded.
Good one. Nice volley, man. Magix has to move. They try and bail him out with smoke, but Blame's over the top, and the call's been made. Magix has nowhere to hide. They can come through this mid-smoke as well if Big want to get Randy. Donk looking to clean up here in middle, but Blame just smokes his escape. All right. One man home.
Oh, well. That doesn't bode well for winning this one, does it? You have dealt with one guy on the backstab, and there's a second coming in. Shiro. Okay, he gets it. That's what matters. Not the cleanest, but still past Tabson. And the follow-up on a Grix. All right, Shiro. Let's see if him and Don could pull this one off. 2 kills from this backstab. The other 2 trapped in at the bomb site. So there's no post-plants to worry about here. You're battling forward. Donk dead. Big 7-0.
Wow, I mean, great try from Shiro. The HE to put the smoke up in Grix's face does get him the kill that opens the round, but not going to win this one as Big just sit back in the bomb site. That's the first time they've really been tested in this game. And they come out absolutely fine with 2 players standing. 7-0 indeed. A disastrous start for Team Spirit. If you were expecting a stomp today, I don't think you were expecting it this way. They're going out mid this time. Going quick as well. Magix has no help.
Oh, the util's so good. Like, every time we say that, we cut to Blame F getting full flashed, but it still is really, really good here for Big. They're just setting such a lethal precedent around middle.
Okay.
Nice shot there from the AWP, and so Tania are able to cut one out of the round.
These
But the nades will bully him, bring him down low.
Great. Tania needs to run. He is a dead man walking. Magic's still here the whole time. It's 1 HE molly left, but it's gone back towards B on Tabson and Griggs. Spirit look like they want to bring more men over to fight middle. Zontic's util could go a long way here, so deep nade, molly to follow, good kill on Fathom. Can Blame F fight his way out of this position? No, he burns alive as well. B has been lost in the downtime, so Big still have a chance.
Yeah, 4v2, best position Team Spirit have been in this entire game. Are Big going to keep it flawless, or does Spirit finally get on the board? You're telling yourself this has got to be enough. This is a really out there position from Griggs. He's landed a tag. Cross for Tabson to try and hold on to the vent.
I'm scared.
Timing could get the better of him here because that vent player is coming very, very late. Tania not the first to play. Line held by Griggs, swing and a miss. Tabson's got his back. Shiro low. Tabson finished off as the pincer comes in. And so it takes them 8 rounds, but Spirit will get on the board.
Yeah, they come from enough positions there that it's just too overwhelming. You can't predict the order in which they come out. So nice trade, Heaven to Near. Very important he doesn't die early. And that is a buzzer beater defuse. Barely got it through. But if Tania plays any earlier, I think they might just lose that round. Nice nades in middle. Spirit returned the favor finally with mollies and HEs all over the shop. We have 2 spawn cloud smokes. One for the front of B. Oh, it's very nice indeed. It's going to get Big a bit more space, but Spirit still play aggressive. Molly locks out Griggs. He just misses that timing. Now Shiro owns the angle. Not for long. Tries to peek from high. Griggs hits the flick. Zontix holds B strong. So 4v4 and Big are regrouping back on this site. Curiosity costs you.
JDC just keeps walking with this in, like, that's the round. Spirit on the wrong side of the map. They're going to add all the little bells and whistles, but this is overkill. They've got the site. Taking a little while to get here, and the rotates are arriving.
Never be sure. Where is Donk is the question for Big right now, but he's back in spawn. That molly. Oh, there's an angle here for Magix. Maybe he can kill this cross. JDC giving the bomb and just makes it in. So, price is averted. I think Spirit know this one is too far gone. I would say, do you agree with me here? B-side Cash is very hard retake. Like, got to be one of the hardest in the game. So it feels. It's not quite Dust 2B, but
I think it depends. Like in some like if you have util, yes, it's like if the T's have util, yes, because then they're able to lock off a bunch of the choke points. But
even just coming out vent though, like you say a 3v3, you know, you got sight, you got checkers. It can be really hard to get out vent. Flank not that strong unless you play super late. I've just seen teams struggle a lot getting back into B in even scenarios. Okay, another full buy here off the save. Shira gets his AWP. It's a shame. Shira had the line last round. If he stayed on it, he's going to win that fight. But he goes
jumps
back
up,
out
like
to jump up.
Towards the Shroud boost. Ooh.
Shroud would not be proud now.
I mean, look, considering we started this series saying, like, this is the time for Spirit to try and level in and lock in a little bit from their weak performances, safe to say they're not doing that. This is an all-or-nothing game.
I'm just shocked the Spirit is still playing highway box, right? It's been so clear this whole game from round one. Big are, like, abusing this position. They just need 2 more players with nades.
It's one of the kind of cool ideas that Big have, or like one of the big problems, I guess, Big are trying to cause, right, with this punishing util in middle. They're trying to make it feel like you can't play anywhere, but you can't give up mid. Especially not because Big have been using it, right, in these B splits. What do you actually do if you don't play the highway box? You don't feel like you can play close either because the molly's wrecking you.
Third HE on highway. Big better be checking their UD on the scoreboard every round because they know they're nailing it.
I mean, they're probably feeling it. When you go into bomb sites and everyone's just dying in one bullet, you know your util's effective.
Okay, it's an A stack, but Spirit have lost this before. Donk is here, so is the AWP at quad. Watch Donk somehow multi-kill his way out of this position.
Full exec. All the util streaming in. Donk burning. Shiro provides a bit of cover. That's let Donk slip back, but they're scaling up over the top. Donk dead with nothing done. The stack gets dissolved. Zontix does have a bit of a forward position here. No one's ready for this, so Zontix might have something up his sleeve. There's the first. Reaction for Blame F is punished, but he's got it down to a 1v1. Now, Magix doesn't have a kill yet, and it's not changing now because Favin deletes him.
Despicable shot from Favin, locked in, but that 4th kill, there's no way he's ready for Magix that far away. Absolutely rips his face off. 4 frags for Favin, and you feel it there for Spirit again, because what happens? They have a stack in the right place, they get double smoked, Donk gets repositioned with Molly, he goes to help Shiro backside, Shiro gets mollied, then he gets flashed, then Donk, he's holding the right angle and Favin jumps over the top. Spirit just can't get a read on any of these sight hits. They've had stacks in the right place numerous times, and they've got nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
These are excellent executes from Big.
I kind of hope we see Spirit go back to aggression over towards A. It's like the only time they've had any semblance of map control was on the back of that A push, and they kind of threw it away themselves, right? It's not like Big did anything crazy to go and retake that space.
Look at that.
Right now, the map feels so small for Team Spirit. They can't hold mid, the util's wrecking them. If they sit back, they're at the full mercy of these execs, which are just way too strong. And this B site and any of the pushes have always gotten punished. So it kind of feels like A's your only option.
Shiro on highway now. Luckily, he's pushed forward with Donk. And so, yeah, close mid. Still gets naded. Can't catch a break, can you?
I couldn't even tell you how they knew to do that one.
I like this angle, though. It's a good way of putting the AWP in play, but Blame is, of course, for some reason, holding that. It's a perfect line. That is a frustrating death to give up for Shiro. I think it's a good play, given how much has gone down in this game, but Big just punish. And look at this. One flash pop in. Full blind is Magic's. And, I mean, Spirit, again, caught out of position, right? That's a silent B-pop, something Big haven't even done. They just walk close main with a flash and a molly on the same time.
And, dude, don't you just feel how claustrophobic that B site is? Like, it's a very tight setup to run, having two players, especially when you're up against a team that have just been running execs, right? You were at the full mercy of Util. You saw Zontix and Magic just kind of tripping over each other in the bomb site as they try and separate. That's actually where Big find the first kill. Spirit just look a little lost right now. Like, you're seeing Big with all these ideas. The game's just flowing. Everyone's hitting their shots. They feel like they can't do anything wrong.
I mean,
Spirit don't really have from this look, you know, don't have any degree of comfortability.
It's also nice because it's showing that Cash can, you know, a lot of people would expect this to be kind of a brainless aim map, but Big is showing how much thought can go into these rounds. It's not just the calling, like doing good rounds at good times, but it's how much setup these rounds are getting, how much damage they're doing early, how scared they're making Spirit. They're making them play double B bomb side out of spawn. Just a brutal round on B again. And Magic's 0 and 9. How are you meant to get a read right now? It's 10-1 down. I think we all can feel this game is kind of over. But Spirit must play on. Try and find this one last round of the half. Deep main smoke. A lot of teams been using this, but Big don't care. They just cross through.
It's very brazen. Maybe that's what lets them down. Finally, a trade kill back, but the advantage still with Spirit. Rotates arriving.
What? You're just running and shooting. It works.
Griggs over the top of this smoke, but as he's lost the rest of his team, they're in the sight, they're in the heavens. Team Spirit will scrape by with 2 rounds on this CT campaign.
Yeah, 2 kills for Magic's there just at the end of the half to avoid a killless half of Counter-Strike. Still not pretty for Spirit, but you do feel like that one is just Big kind of cooling from the score. They go through the smoke. They could have cancelled a couple of times. They still commit. Maybe a bit cocky there. I'm going to forgive them at a 10-2 half. It's a beautiful half of CS from Big on this T side. And Spirit, you know, if they have anything, is now even the time to show it. Dust 2 is Spirit's pick in this series. And while you want to hold a lot of faith for that, it's a map that even Vitality lost a bait. Spirit struggled against Luminosity. So I'm going to say today of all days, there's no guarantees in this game.
Donk's smiling away like he's been told he's won the lottery or something.
Don't laugh, you'll cry.
I mean...
Shiro uncrouched at the worst time, but it's fine. It's fine. They have numbers over boost. Big. Spirit seem very ready for that for some reason. They just walk close middle. Maybe they've done that round before. Spirit full punish. 3v2. Julies are alive.
We say also ending rounds through mid can get real scary. There's a reason why a lot of squads don't do it.
They're going into the stack. Griggs is checking Z. Spirit jump in.
All right. Dual Berettas, they've done some early damage, but Donk quick to silence them.
It's relieving.
And you'd like to think no more worries here in a 3v1. Bomb planted, Magic's with a clean kill to close. Say this about Spirit. They sometimes, you know, they'll get themselves kind of amped up or pumped up using whatever they can. And I think when Magic's gets dealt a straight up disrespectful A hit in the final round of the half, and that's where they get to. If he was ever going to turn to the guys and say like, okay, now we reckon, it would be after a round like that. I mean, now they've got the pistol. Let's see.
It's times like these
Jury's out.
where you say like, okay, guys, they're overconfident. Watch out for it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? They are going to try ego us here.
Like, getting beaten up by a team that's playing super tactically just seems to be more comfortable, have a bigger depth. That's one thing. But the moment they get overconfident, now you want to beat them.
You're buying in very early. Let's see if you're onto something. Big with a force buy. And they can kind of stem any bleeding here by just winning this round straight up. B-stack in play, though. Spirit destined for A. Unless this is a fake out from Tanir, but heavy in middle and heavy up highway. As this smoke fades, the exec comes in. Interesting round here for Spirit, but it's just nobody home to stop it.
Oh, it's top performer Tabson.
How has he gotten... My... What is going on?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, imagine though, imagine, dude. He got so much room there. That's a cool way of clearing A from Spirit. You know they've been working on this map as well, so let's see your audition tape on this T side. Zontix has a Molotov. That would go kind of hard right now. 3 players in Sunroom. It's hot here in Paris. Not worth dying for that. And so nobody does. Big no comebacks of any magnitude are possible. They know better than most. Gonna need to lock in come this first gun round.
Really hope that's not the thought they're having. All right, that's nice for Blame F. Saved SMG, put to work.
Oh, we saw bomb A.
Tabs.
Saw bomb A.
Oh, Tabs.
Everybody's moving.
He was so excited when Cash came back. It's just, you know, it's like putting on an old pair of shoes. You just love it. You slip right in. You've already broken them in. You know the map so well.
Oh, no.
Look at this for Tabson.
Oh,
He's
okay.
done it.
Got it.
Double kill on the backstab.
Well, it's Berlin International Gaming. They don't take card there. It's only cash for Tabson.
And when one squeaky door opens, another closes. Team Spirit, this comeback they were hoping for, maybe out the window. On the back of this 2K from Tabson.
Tabson holding the door. The donk. Still not done with this round.
All right. Donk's clawed it back. 2v2. Bomb still down over here in main. Problem is, Big kind of lent pretty heavy into the defense of this bomb early on, and so now they're paranoid because they've given up a lot of the map elsewhere. So they've only left one guy on the bomb. Donk dead, it's on to Zontix, but he does drag them through into this 1v1.
Don't have time to rotate out. He's checking his flank, but 20 seconds here. What's the play for Zontix? Really? I mean, what do you think?
Through the vent.
Oh,
the full way around.
I don't know about this.
It's going to be close. Stopwatch out.
I think he's got it.
All right. He knows his timings.
That is close. Well played.
Oh, even goes for the ideal plant spot and everything.
Oh, respect.
All right.
Respect.
He knows. And now he's got a 1v1. Favin can't quite believe that the bomb's gone down on B. Zontix gets aggressive. That's the clutch.
Okay.
Spirit are building in the right direction.
Look, it's only anti-ecos, but they're very confident now after that. Look at that clutch.
Dude,
That's a
I'm telling
2v4.
You lose a round. Sorry, you win a round when Big get too big for their boots. And like that's the team you want to be. Think about how many times you've been there yourself. You go, or anyone watching at home, you're playing a game, you're getting wrecked, you're kind of just on autopilot. But then they do something that's like, oh, they're really disrespecting us now. They're really trying to rub salt in the wound. Now you really want to beat them. You refocus.
Man, what a call for Zontix to make that rotation. And also, you know, Donk, massive 3K. Ooh, cancel. Okay, the wheels are not yet falling off, but they're shaky. Squeaky. And this feels far more tense than a game of this scoreline should. Slow and steady here for Spirit. I mean, utility fans, just download this demo, please, because about every nade in the world has been thrown. And our observers are catching all of it. B hit for Spirit, here we go.
There are 3 players here for the big squad. Flame F waiting on the sidelines up there in heaven, still tries to spam Desfaven, and Donk teaches him that's a horrible idea. A clean sweep for Team Spirit, bomb planted, round secured, and this gap is closing.
All right, we got a game on our hands. That was hard for Spirit. You know, the execute is nice, but it's not like they're going in off of a molly or a flash. There actually is a big gap in between when the util lands and when they play. So Big still have chances to win fights there. They do some damage on Donk, but Spirit get out very clean. Up to 6 now. Big having the same trouble Spirit did in that first half. Even when they're in the right place, they can't stop these hits.
I think you kind of had to credit for Big in that first half was the depth of the ideas they had. They had a lot of thoughts, a lot of tricks up their sleeve. You're going to want to showcase something like that soon on this CT side.
Well, yeah, because our problem with Spirit CT is they didn't do anything, right? They just kind of sat highway, they let themselves get naded.
The most tense round we have was the squeaky door push from Tapson. Now, sure, that's on like an eco, and he feels a bit of a degree of freedom to go for something like that. You don't really want to risk these limited gun rounds on a timing squeaky door push, per se. But something aggressive, just to own a portion of the map, would be a great place to start. So let's see if Big feeling that too. They call a tack timeout here. Because this is not the team Spirit that were red in the face, 10-1 down with only Donk getting any kills.
They were laughing at halftime. Now I'm starting to see why.
Like I can imagine the exact phrasing of Magic's turning to the gang. Okay. Now we
win. Oh,
well,
sick for Magix.
He would use the worst language, I think. But yeah, Magic's in with an opening. JDC gone.
That was cool. That's a boost over. Luckily for Big, that molly misses. Are they going to boost up? Big are counter boosting. Or Blame in this position. He's not like going for the flank, but he is in a very strong spot. They're still mollying over boost as well. Will miss. But I like that Big have done this. Very cheeky. Could this be the position that catches them free kills? Magic's out middle. You'll clear low. You won't clear high. Blame swings out. Magix does decent damage, but he's going to try and escape here. It's an nade, but it's fine because he gets the fight he wants. Just Faven home. Not for long. The play was there for Big, but Spirit react quickly. The same 2 save again.
Closer you get to a tie game as well, the less freedom you feel like you have, right? Risking on like a 3-man hyper-aggressive setup where you're trying to get in their face or a little gimmick like the boost, that's all well and good while you're leading and you've got rounds to play with, but those rounds are gone. And if this ends up getting more passive and kind of more standard for Big, you do get nervous.
Round by round.
Now this was a potential 11-1 half for Big Clan.
Oh, nice shots. JDC got stuck on the wall there, I think. Stopped in the open. Blinded. And yeah, nice catch. Right into that lip. Flames through this smoke, and Magic's almost cleared it, but almost doesn't cut it. Flame gets out of there. Can he live this time? Equalizing in a 4v4.
I mean, this here is almost the detail that was missing, right? He didn't have a smoke or any way of escaping. Grix on a very forward line, one that they're not ready for. You got to be quick to pounce here. You don't want him taking too many shots on this orb. Grix trying to evade, ends up getting shut down. And so every edge that Big have been able to find, Spirit instantly respond to. It's a 3v3, and you still don't really have a clear picture as to where this is ending up.
Grix had to fight his way out there. He couldn't escape. That smoke fell way too short. Even without the nade, they were going to catch him. So definitely feeling the pressure now are Big. Flame still spotting middle, but I think at this point you've got to just make the gamble. There's 40 seconds on the clock. Spirit are grouping together. Haven't going for an info flash. Spirit don't bite. And so he's actually going to rotate out. That might be round if he just gives this up. Sees players crossing. Faven commits to the fight. 1-for-1 is not bad here, but Big still have a tough call to make. 2 nades. Donk is at half health.
Targeting the bomb planter, looking for Shiro. And Molly had actually fallen shy. Might have loved an extra smoke for CT. Still, Donk plays around it, and Shiro scoped up on this line. It's the late arrival of Tabson, but he's given away his position with the nade, so they know he's closing in. Shiro brought down to 1 health, and as Donk goes forward, it's handed off to Shiro. 1 HP, and Tabson, ring around the roses, finally breaks the silent streak. Big back on the board.
Better late than never, hey. They can still close this game right now. They got a few more chances to do so for Spirit are right there. That was a scary, scary round. So important that Faven gets his one when he gives up that bomb site. I think 3 players in a post plant there would have made that too difficult. They just about squeeze it out with a clutch from Tabson. Top performer from that T side. Still going. Breaking the 5-round streak in the second half.
Saw Shiro talking a lot before this round. And so maybe something centered around him looking for an opener on that AWP again. He's over towards B, lobbing in a lurk smoke right now, so nothing super aggressive from him out of the gate. I'll say this, considering we've seen kind of vast quantities of util burned early, both teams are really holding on to it here. You know, we're under the minute mark now. Still have a lot of blocking util for Big. I think you're expecting them to have burnt a little bit more with how this game's gone. Okay, don't love that. They've also got a triple A lean. And with players still outside of this B site, not impossible that you see this turn into a mid to be. 30 seconds as the bomb takes middle alongside Magic's.
Vent pop coming in. Faven in a very strong position. They might overlook him if they go too quick. JDC is drawing the attention with that smoke. Faven peeks out with a flash and double kill before the trade comes in. JDC can't do much here, but he is buying time. 10 seconds on that clock as the bomb crosses in.
Oh, Shiro's got to go
as
side.
well. This is a mess right now, but Spirit might be able to sneak it in until that shot connects. Griggs has won the round by dropping the bomb, and that is map point now for Big. Oh, ho, ho. None of that matters. That is a round on the clock from Big. Faven has had some massive multi-kills in this game. Not the highest fragger, but at 4K on the T side, early in that string of rounds for Big, and now getting a double kill here. Absolutely slowed the roll of Team Spirit. 5-round gap. The Big just need one.
Big certainly owe Faven a great deal of thanks, right? Just a number of high impact kills over here towards B. Even the one that kind of led into that 2v2 that Tabson was able to close on.
Oh, high flash.
You hear Blamer? He's jump spotting. You know you've got this timing, and so Donk just goes early. Mid control taken for Team Spirit.
Can you? Oh, don't get spotted. Doesn't want to see the AWP again. Smoke comes down, Shiro picks him, and even though that smoke misses, Spirit just have the numbers here. 5v3, they're going to go through.
No check on Forklift, Tabson good for his, but he's lost his teammates now entirely alone. Faven and Magic's have traded places, and I'm not entirely sure how. Magic's is in Z. So Faven catches them by surprise, but now they realize they let a man slip by. They're quick to deal with him.
Bit of a messy one there. It's interesting how much Spirit are using Highway on this T side, right? It was their pistol, it was their anti-eco, doing it again. Sure, this kill's kind of given to them, but they still wanted to move up there the whole time. They're setting up flashes for it. Important entry from Donk. And Spirit, it's a kind of a hard crossfire to get through as we see, but they're fine to freeze there and let the round come to them in that 4v2. Broken. Eco time. Tabson with a hero. Spirit not scared at all in this round. Straight up mid with Molly Smoke. Oh my god.
That's Donk dead. Right off the rip at the hands of a Blame F Eagle, and Tabson's gone back to his signature move. Now if they boost over, oh dear, that's the Tabson hero gun. They're trying to accelerate the pace. Who's been a real nuisance? It's been Faven in so many of these moments. Well, he's rejoining this double stack over here at B. Two pistols tucked in, spot them both, can't deal with it. JDC, only good for the first. 3 more players from Big moving over, and the bomb is here alone. Zontix is so late to this, arriving vent side. Surely it can't all come unraveled up against the pistols. There's a smoke down. Oh, pulling nades makes you a little nervous, but no punish from Big. And how are you meant to get through this? Molly on Shiro, just to buy you a few more seconds. Suntix holding for a swing out. Actually takes it to them. Lines up a double. Left to Tabson, and he can't make it work. What a round out of Zontix.
Yeah, he's again had massive impact in some of these late rounds. He had that clutch early. And that is crazy to see Zontix just take the swing there. That's not really what you expect from this kind of player. Forces all 3 kills in a terrifying 2 versus 4 situation. Spirit pick it up. I felt like the eco was getting ripped out from under them. And Big have more work to do. Only 3 more chances left. Only 2 more 4-buy rounds. Straight out mid here for Donk. He gets his entry, but up top is JDC. And he's not done either. But maybe this map is another 4v2. Tanir got past the orb. Spirit still have a chance.
Look at how quickly Big are rotating, though. They're leaving nothing to chance here. They know this is their opportunity at a knockout blow, at rescuing this game. And it's just Magic's left. A valiant effort at this comeback. They were 1-10 down. They certainly had Big sweating, but if Magic's doesn't clutch up now, Cash falls in Big's favor. Molly forces a swing. No one else from Big reacting yet. It's Magic's dead on that peek round the corner. So finally, Big get it done. 10-1 up. It takes everything they had, but they will lock in the victory on their map pick. Cash goes their way. For Team Spirit, they got to try and find some respite in the fact that they have warmed into this a little bit now. It's their pick of Dust 2 up next. If they want to dodge elimination, they've got to give it their all.
Yeah, they say Cash rules everything around me. Well, at least in this motion, it's Big ruling Spirit's number there on Cash. That's because what a result that came. Real quick and almost nearly out of control right there. Welcome back. Yeah, EWC 26. Pretty good result, pretty good start in this series for Big. Let's talk about it. Jacob Pimp Vinicky, we got Dupree down on his side, and we've got a pretty lovely game of CS if you're a Big fan.
I guess Spirit are not done surprising us so far this tournament. Naturally, their loss against GG How, that was a big one. In a best of 1, we gave them the excuse, Peter, that, hey, you know, first game of the tournament, it's a best of 1. GG How played well. Mirage, blah, 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 blah. We move into the second game of Team Spirit. They beat Luminosity 2-0, but they struggling massively to get the job done, and we think to ourselves, maybe we should pay attention to whether or not Spirit are not really feeling themselves at the moment. After watching Cash Peter, I am now ready to say that they're not looking like themselves. What an abysmal start to the game. What a very poor performance, again, coming in from a team where it feels like the only player showing up, the only win condition they have is Donk. And I know it sounds a little bit silly to say that, yeah, we know Donk is great, we know he's the best player maybe to ever touch the game, but it didn't used to be like this. They could remain competitive without Donk necessarily being at his absolute best, but even him playing well is not enough to be competitive against Tech Notes. Big.
So, big start T-side. They showcase a ton of util prowess. They get the 7-0. Dupree, they're in control at this point.
Yeah, they're definitely in control. Both teams really struggle to find, you know, their footing on the T side, but, I mean, obviously, I think the map pays in. I mean, that's one thing, that Spirit is not looking great on the map. It's more like the fashion that they end up losing. They had 2 rounds where they would forget that the door exists. Yep. Like 2 times Tabson pushes out door, getting frags, and winning one of them just by, you know, getting double kill the name in, and then seasonally control of the bomb. But it's also the stacks they have. Like, they have the reads, they have the right positions, but you just can't put the things together. Like, whenever they're supposed to be fighting and winning off the duels, they just don't do it. I mean, like, Donk is doing everything he can to try and keep Spirit in this one. And yes, I know this is Cash, and it's probably still new to Spirit, but it's the fashion, it's like the lack of overview, and it's the lack of individual prowess that it's just gone missing. And that's worrying, right? Like, Spirit is 1 map away now from being eliminated.
And we have that example, right? Spirit stacks, good read. Donk, triple kill, still lose.
But that's exactly what I mean. Like, the read here from Spirit is perfect, right? Sure, they don't have like a ton of utility or like the right guns, but they have 4 players on this A bomb side. And Donk, you know, he even gets lucky by actually escaping the Molotov, and that sets him up to get like a lot of kills. But then you can see, like, they just look dysfunctional. Like, Donk does everything he can. He gets a triple kill here, and then you have something stuck now on side, hopefully to get something done, gets found out. And if you even look at the scoreboard at this point, the only one on the side of Spirit that actually has any frags is Donk.
Yeah.
We're talking about a team that have not put up anything up until this game.
6 rounds, 7 kills total. You know, Suntix got 1, and that's about it. As much as I agree, because I think Spirit played abysmal on this map, and sure you can blame the map to some degree, but I also do think Big played well. The utility usage, the composure, the way that they were spacing on the map as well. It's clear to see that they've taken this opportunity to integrate Cash into their map pool, thinking, hey, this is a way in. If we make Cash our stronghold, if we make that a super, super strong map, then sure thing, over the next couple of months, the teams like Na'Vi, Spirit, whoever picks up the map, they will even out the scoreboard. They will get better because they're better players, they're better teams, they're better individuals, blah, 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 blah. But early on, this used to be a tactic for some of these underdogs team. As soon as a new map comes out, you jump on the map straight away because you can sort of even out the playing field. And to be completely honest right here, Big were the better team, I know that it got somewhat close at the end of it, 12 to 9 here, but even the round where Tapson is flanking with a 5-7, getting a double kill, Donk and Suntex, I believe it is still winning a 2v4, right? So Spirit could have, probably should have lost 13-5. It wasn't a close game. Sure, they made a bit of a cosmetic comeback, but that's on the side of Spirit and not Big.
Yeah, that Big drop one round. They hit B again. Bing bong up to 9-1, 10-2 first half. The next thing you know, it's a conversation also a little bit about Tapson v Donk, right? And that's basically all we got from one side.
That's OG Tapson. When was the last time you saw Tapson play this well, huh?
Oh, well, I can't remember, but I know that he has always been like that German player that has, jumped the charts and being the one that could put up the biggest fight, right? And, took a bit of a hit when, he had to be Ingemeter, but still seemingly putting up the effort, right? But the head-to-head right here, like two players with, in my book, still very different calibers. Like, Donk is still like miles ahead of Tapson, but it's good to see that the old guy can still, kick a little ball sometime.
Yeah, a great performance from Tapson. As said, we got to give credit to Big. Great performance from them, their team, all the players involved as well. Even when Spirit were making the comeback, you could think to yourself, all right, Big, you've been in a position like this before where you've been up big time and then you lose grasp of the game, you're playing Donk and you start to be a bit nervous, but they got it closed out, Trace, before we got into those, uncomfortable scenarios where you could maybe start to make the case that Spirit could push it into overtime.
Uncomfortable would be me saying Magic's with 2 kills in the first half. Now, what could be comfortable is Spirit washing away what was Cash, and we just move right on into Dust 2.
See, here's the issue, right? Because I firmly still believe Spirit will win this series. I still have them as favorite to win the next 2 maps and progress into the playoff. I don't see them replicate this kind of performance on a map like Dust 2 again, but in my book, they're already lost. The fact that they're in the lower bracket, the fact that they're down a map to Big, the fact that they're 1 map away from being eliminated in a 16-team playoff, sure thing, go ahead and win the next 2 maps, but you're not walking into that playoff with any sort of confidence that you can win the entire tournament. And I know that can change in the blink of a second. You go into playoff and it's all of a sudden a new tournament after a couple of days off, but nobody watching Spirit right now is thinking to themselves, hey, that's a team that can win the trophy in a week's time. That's not installing any confidence whatsoever right now. It's Donk trying to keep them alive, and unless Donk plays well in Dust 2, then who is to say that it can't happen?
Well, like Donk usually shows up. Like even when Spirit looks the worst, he still seems to be.
They almost lost luminosity on Dust 2, didn't they?
Yeah, I know.
Luminosity.
I still think that Cash plays in massively here. I think it was clear to see that Spirit had a lot of issues, not only on the CD side, but also some of the T rounds. It did came down to the wire. Some of it did really needed Suntex and also Donk to bail them out of those situations, right? Whereas Dust 2, we all know how good they are on the map, and then that is also what comforts me a little bit. It's not the first time that we have seen an underdog take a map away from a favorite by playing this new orthodox map that has come into the map pool in the beginning of a new season. And as you mentioned, Jacob, that is sometimes a very big card that the underdogs can have, that they've just put in the hours and the elite teams haven't. It's not going to be an excuse, because it's more or less like, it's not like Spirit as individuals don't know how the map is designed and how to function out, right? But it's when they get pressured, when they lose map control, when they don't know, they only have maybe like 5-6 rounds, to kind of figure out what to do against a specific thing, and they just couldn't solve that today.
Yeah, not yet at least. Perhaps they get a breath of fresh air. Or did I say that right? A fresher breath air. Whatever. Anyway, maybe they get some of that, and then going into the second map, we get to go to a break. Then we get to jump into Dust 2. We find out if Spirit have any of just that. Team Spirit. We'll be right back after this. You're watching the Esports World Cup.
were there. For every click, every clutch, every respawn. We were there for the years of grind, and we're here. Now, the proud founding partner of EWC, powering the biggest event in gaming, shoulder to shoulder with the world's best, making history. Greatness deserves a stage. Lenovo Legion, reach your impossible.
Big have cashed their map pick here in this series and sit only a single map away from the playoffs of EWC. We go to Dust 2, Spirit's home ground, their formidable safe haven. But is it so? Top teams have struggled here in Paris, and Spirit are no exception to that rule. We even saw them struggle to close this very map against Luminosity, of all teams inside of this group stage. Despite Donk showing up, it's not enough. And Big across the board, everybody is here to play. It's been quite a few months from Big, grinding themselves into the top 30, making it to a major, leaving Legacy there in Cologne, and now going on to hit even harder here to punch up yet again. This would be quite an upset for Big. Don't count Spirit out. Donk on Dust, a new map, a Spirit that warmed up come the end of Cash.
Yeah, if you were going to look for some silver linings, that would be it, right? The idea, well, hey, at least they didn't just roll over and die. And down the stretch, Big was certainly getting a bit more nervous. Spirit had certainly started to show some of their expected form. But I don't know, nothing has felt safe. Nothing has felt sacred when it comes to Team Spirit here at EWC.
Recent games on Dust have been good, at least for Spirit, right? When we had Vitality lose this map just yesterday to Bait, it was coming off the back of 3 losses in a row. It was a shaky-looking Vitality who'd lost 4 of the last 8 series. And Spirit, I'd like to think, are not in that category. I mean, remember, they just came off a grand final, albeit a loss, but good tournament otherwise. Full focus, Spirit just storm out mid to B.
As they look for a mid to B here, at least that's the outlook from the util and the positioning. There is this triple stack for Big. It's so quickly reduced just down to 2. You're hoping that Blame F gets overlooked. He has been able to strike 1 from the tally out at the car. Good for a double. But it's still that B site falling, and Magic's in position to manipulate these rotates. He hears Tabson bound for the tunnels, knows about a player down here in CT, and they're looking to get rid of Griggs before he gets to play.
Nice shot.
When you see Magic's in that corner, Tabson knows he's been heard, he's been rumbled. So doesn't even give this a proper look in.
Nice close for Magic's, but yeah, Shiro also hits the 2 most important shots. Double tap on window, and then clearing Blame out, who is a couple of kills deep on car. Drop Donk coming through the door, so nice shots out of Shiro's P250. Save Spirit in this pistol. Good read from Big, but Spirit fight their way out. Force by with 2 scouts and long taken. Blame has has some util on A. There's definitely potential on the hold, but you're going to need to nail these first shots, and that will not help your chances. Donk, beautiful tap to Grix. Flame fighting for the site, has taken 2 with him, but no more. And the flank from tabseN, unable to find success. Spirit getting closer despite some damage. Zontix is lasering these players on A. That should be enough. Trying to bait first steps perhaps, but nobody's biting. Magix pulls back on low health. Spirit breathe easy.
I think if you're Spirit, you know, you really couldn't afford a slow start here, right? Getting to the comfort of Dust 2, so relieving to see pistol secured, conversion found, chance to go 3-0 up. Because this CWC run has really felt like a fall from grace for this squad. You know, when you kind of look at like the last string of events for Team Spirit, they've either won the event in the case of like an Astana, or you know, lost to the guys that would go on to win the event. Sure. Falcons at the major, Maus in Bounty, obviously, where they played in the final. And even Rio going that far back, losing the Vitality. Like, these are not games that they're supposed to be struggling in. It's a championship level team running the risk of falling in the groups. So I hope this lit a bit of a fire beneath them.
Yeah.
And we saw them smiling and laughing on Cash as they attempted the comeback, but I hope we get focused faces here on Dust 2. They dodged the stack in this round. That's no real worries. It will be 3-0.
Yeah, Flame gets to save his M4, give it another go. Spirit, no real reason to risk bodies on the hunt. tabseN's gone overlooked. Maybe could 2-tap a rifle out of play, but Shiro's got his knife out. He's adjusting his seat. Come on, tabseN, what have you got? He's just waiting until he has the perfect timing. Don't wait too long. It's only Zontix available now. Fight in middle. Grix is nailing them, my god. And of course, Zontix does jump, but tabseN still converts it. My god, that is an expensive round for Team Spirit. Not sure why they felt the need to hunt so hard. Shiro finds one more, dropping Grix at the end, but Grix has made his money, man. Multiple kills off Scout. Felt very keen for Spirit to go chasing there. They lose a lot of guns. But I guess the benefit is less Galils, more AKs here in this first rifle round.
Shiro has like the dream spawn to hold the mid-cross, so he's going to try and put this AWP to work straight away.
He's holding for the AWP. He didn't take a shot on the cross. Waiting for Grix, who won't bite.
Oh, Donk saying to himself, man, these nades, both maps now, they've just been homed in on him.
I mean, it's Spirit. You know Donk is lower. That's just good prep there for Big.
Donk's the one guy with a Galil.
Bench the whole team.
Oh, he's dead right away. JDC, as they try and pick up the pace. One man's made it past. JDC heard this, but not able to deal with it. Magic's now toying around with these smokes, and in amidst this, players cross pass. Blame F with a freebie. Left to Shiro as the last man, and he's trying to escape by the looks of things. I don't think tabseN's going to let him. tabseN's been very involved on both of these maps, like already being super active here on Dust 2.
Seeing some long pushes out of him as well. It's a lot of fun. Maybe feeling like he has a read on this position.
It's not Shiro this, because that
win.
kill now has opened up a route into the bomb site.
Yeah, luckily Tabson's really fast. So as soon as Blame gets contact, not even needed, Tabson's there and locked in here are big on the board. Not too late either. And, okay, now we go back to the previous round where Spirit hunted those exits.
And lost everything.
And they have no money. So, not really worth it. Which is weird because in the past we've seen games where it's like Spirit don't
If
hunt.
anything, they don't hunt when
and we're
they
like,
should.
why aren't they hunting? But that was not one of those rounds, you know? JDC tagged on the cross. But there's just one AK on Donk. Unbenched the whole team.
It's a little quip there from Hugo.
Yeah.
Not a leak.
Spirit, the master of the mid to B. Always a threat. But it looks like they just want to hit upper. 3 players here.
That flash from Blame F might like feign the idea that you've kind of full retaken this mid space. Sure, they have JDC watching it. That's who the flash was for. But I think if you just heard that in your team spirit, you're a little bit paranoid. They flashed through, retaken middle. So you're going to try and re-clear with Donk.
Just Donk.
JDC last time, really solid double kill here. This time it's Favin playing for first contact. This has given up the B site. That's going to give rise to a bomb plant, and JDC actually gets dealt with from those players crossing at the door.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, you know, Big think they know what Spirit are doing, and that's why the upper hit's so good for Spirit. It's just one man out middle. Big want to prioritize. Okay, usually Spirit will have, you know, 3 players, maybe even 4 players coming out mid to B, and if we can brawl with them, we can win the round, drop the bomb in middle, get support from CT, but Spirit just have Donk there, and so even though he dies for nothing, all his team are getting the space from upper B. Nice hit there for Spirit with pistols in. Most of their players get out with the round. A bunch of upgrades at that, so doing more with less. An expensive loss here for Big. Can't believe Magix gets this kill as well, just jiggling with the Tech 9. Really made matters worse. So already a well-called T-side here coming out of Spirit. Not necessarily relying off of big frags, just putting themselves in strong positions.
I think if you're Spirit, everyone actually quite likes that, right? The idea that it's not taking these hulking individual efforts, you are just kind of outmaneuvering your opponent. Sure, it's a team that very much can win just on direct firepower, but you've seen them go from looking a little lost at the start to now feeling some comfort on Dust 2, which is nice. Nice shot from that Grix AWP, but this short space is not free. Magix thinking he's going to have a timing there once the AWP drops down.
That's the whole idea from Big. You can see how shocked Magix was on the cam. Runs into 2 players after the AWP drops.
To death like that, you're thinking, okay, they've done their homework then.
Yeah. It's just an unorthodox setup. And actually, Spirit are hoping that they've overcooked with that 5-on-4, that they've reset entirely. They're not entirely wrong, but Big is still playing it safe. Tabson's got this molly. Grix can support with utility. Spirit are executing.
Flame F first on the scene up from CT. It's Grix and Tabson playing next. And even though Shiro will get his 1, low HP on this AWP, not impossible, but Grix doesn't miss. So a pretty clean round for Big when all is said and done.
I mean, yeah, Spirit avoided the stack, but, you know, getting past the cross there, and Blame has a very fast rotation. Big hit all the shots required. Not really much util to note there for Spirits.
Spirit have put a bit of money into this round. It's nothing crazy, fairly modest. But a couple of smokes, couple of flashes, and a few upgraded pistols. So what's Magic's up to? What's he cooking? He's thinking about it.
Deep thought. I think Big burns some util.
Yeah, you're just hearing it passively, right? Like all those dollars going down the drain.
Ching, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That's how Muddy would sound.
Yeah.
No AWP in middle either, so Rick's on car, Spirit have a lot of space. They're about to find out. Only Tanir has Kevlar at long. Spirit 30 seconds to pop, and yeah, like 1 or 2 missed shots for Griggs, and Spirit get a bomb plant. That's all they want.
One of the best platform for these shots either, right? That's where the little bit of util helps you out.
One thing can win you this round.
You're going to lose Tanir long, but you still have all of short for this post plant. This is good util to slow it down out of Big. But that bomb is going to go down all the same.
Hard round to lose for Big when they're playing like this. They just got to do it together, time everything well, watch their back for lurkers, and just move up CT. Donk and Zontix with Deagles. What can they do?
Big is still paranoid that there's more to this, but it is just 4 players out on short.
Here they go.
So they'll stop holding the extremities now, move in on the back of that Grigsaw. Donk doesn't do nothing with that Deag, and it's a clean put down, so 5 alive, but a bomb plant. That's kind of what you said coming in. That's exactly what Spirit were hoping for.
That just reminds me of those early T-side rounds on Cash for Big, where they hit the bomb sites and it is everybody side by side, like nothing, and then 5 players on your screen. Big really good at their spacing in these kind of rounds. So that's just, I think, some credit to Big on how clean they make that. Don't lose a single player. Sure, there's not a lot of threat anyway, but if you do string out, you can lose. So not a single casualty for Big, and their economy is in ship shape. Rick's making a play. Tabson through the smoke finds Tanir. Big getting crazy in this round. Blame F top mid, Griggs lower. Tabson gets up long, and JDC just re-swings. Control, but Tabson still maintains the car position. Donk is walking into B. Can the bomb get out?
I mean, it certainly can.
Hello, Donk. Griggs seems aware.
Now the map starts.
Oh, he saw him. No, he didn't see him.
Please tell me Blame F was on his POV.
He didn't see him.
He mustn't have been. Yeah, Donk was on his screen.
Oh my goodness, getting faked out on that long smoke as well. Donk is still in a really committed position. If Big come and clear this together, that's their best bet. But don't count out Donk from doing something disgusting here in mid. Ooh. Oh my god. One man goes, Shiro can hold that. Magic's can plant. This is brewing. 2 players. This is happening.
Yeah, this is so tough for Big. They've got layers of lurkers to get through. Shiro's off. Oh, that's a really rough miss.
Just one. One
guy's made it through. You tell him. Oh, Donk's dead out here in middle.
Oh no.
These were strong positions, but you had to hit your shots. Magic's at least holds the line still. There's a lot of bodies coming his way. As Magic's left scrapping on his own, Shiro wins his fight back in the tunnel. Tabson, time's low, time's ticking. Molly in at the tunnels to try and keep Shiro at bay. And Tabson, with seconds to spare, he's got it. He has saved this round for Big.
What a roller coaster. To think that there's no way Big can win it, to think they've definitely got it back the other way with a 2K from Magix, and still tabseN clutches up backside. Oh my goodness, Big. What a day they're giving us. What a game they're giving us across both these maps. Making the impossible seem possible. They had nothing going for them there. No information, no position, post-plant, Spirit knowing where everyone is. And can you believe Donk doesn't get a single kill there in middle? Felt like the right spot to be.
What is this tabseN renaissance we're having?
He's having a great tournament.
Great series versus Team Spirit.
Oh dear. Oh. Back to pistols for Spirit. All too familiar in this T side. They've been broke many a time.
Big have got to be rubbing their hands together right now. They're in such a powerful position. They've got great money and a chance to sweeten the deal in this round if they're able to keep it clean. You're about to try and take the lead. This is Spirit's go-to. And you would be the guys in pole position and not impossible to dislodge for the remainder of the half. You're going to be buying in every one of these rounds.
It's a really scary game now for Spirit.
IMF has had some great util across this series as well, right? Always being threatening with it, always keeping pressure on. Won't stop this one guy getting out on a mid to be, and they're hoping again that this draws a bit of an overreaction out of Big. Make a bit of room for this short take, but it hasn't. 3 players here. Grixorp, and with Blame F to assist. Donk's Eagle.
Okay.
Oh! Donk and Shiro claw it back. Now it's just down to Donk, but he's got hot hands. 2 off this Deagle already. Donk looking for even more. Final kills right there. This was meant to be Big's round. A chance to make money, a chance to take the lead, and Donk's Deeg locked out. faveN keeps it in check.
Don't you love how fearless faveN is as well? It's Donk 3 kills in, 3 1-Deegs in a 1v1, and faveN just wide swings and commits to position. Felt like Donk didn't realize he got out there with that flashbang. faveN, no fear against the world's best, and Big do get rid of that eco. Spirit almost win another low economy round, but not meant to be. Big a timeout to catch their breath, caught off guard. But they are still heading in the right direction. Trading rounds against Spirit. 4 rounds in a row for Big. This is starting to get scary for Team Spirit. This is home territory. Oh, Shiro just killed JDC on the cross. He laughs it off. What else can you do? Hate to die like that. Big have just been fearless with their gambles. 3 strong still on A. They just leave Grix alone. Having the AWP. Perhaps giving them some more faith about this B site. But it's very exploitable on a mid to B. There's nothing Grix could do if Spirit go out middle. Or on the long side. tabseN hears him coming.
He's asking for a flash. He's asking to go. There's a lot of dudes around this corner. Block smoke comes in. tabseN leaves it to a bit of spam. Flash again. tabseN playing it forward. Only good for the first, but you get a lot of info from that. You saw a lot of bodies on that smoke push.
This is huge.
Have an AWP, missed shot, and with Donk opening out through short, getting past Blame F. Team Spirit breathe a little easier. They do good on that opening kill, and they will convert on the back of it. A 5v4 from the get-go. So Spirit tying this game up again.
No point are you out of the woods. Does it feel like in this kind of match?
Oh, you've seen that up now. You want it. You want it gone. Only way you're going to break Big's money is to stop them on these saves. You want any freebies before the end of the half.
One more kill from Grix is a problem for Spirit as well. Just like that. Sure, he loses his AWP, but Spirit, it's expensive for them too. Gonna need 2 drops here. One player won't have everything. But maybe Spirit feel like it's worth it just to get rid of that pesky AWP. 5-5 now, 2 rounds on the half.
I think it's, yeah.
It's fine if Spirit win this round, right? But that's still the if. Grix still has his AWP. Safe across on middle this time. Spirit straight out long.
These mid walks are something big. I've attempted a couple of times now. Spirit have always had eyes on it. How fearless Tabson is over here on long. You admire it, but you're also a little nervous because you know that this Shiro AWP is hungering for someone to come swinging out.
I like that molly. Oh, it has set off the smoke though. Gap in that. They're going to have to re-smoke it. Rotate coming in. How's this going to go? Because JDC is up top middle and Zontix is running around. Just about converts that kill. Now Spirit know they're locked in. They have to go forward.
Flash for a peek. Tabson sent through that smoke. Nades find good damage and a bit of a gap here, but it's down to timings for Grix. Backstab out of JDC. Oh. 2 players holding for it. He gets a dink off before he's deleted.
Rough.
And as Fabin's getting spammed, trying to extract anything from these very forward positions. They know where Grix is. Oh no! Don't go giving him this! And he knows he's on for it. Oh, Grix! What is that?
Round of your life, round of your dreams.
That's something you go to bed and you have dreams about. You're going to have visions about that play, trying to recreate it for the rest of your life.
Just a single bullet in the air. 2 no-scopes. Donk hit 2 phenomenal kills here. And then Grix just one-ups it. Single bullet. Get out of my server, Shiro.
I don't believe it.
And now he's picked him in middle.
I don't believe it.
Get out. I am lost for words. Shiro just got humbled. Back-to-back rounds.
What did we just see?
You don't get rounds like that every day, do you?
You don't get rounds like that ever.
Oh.
That was like 3 0.1% chance things happening back-to-back-to-back.
All right, Spirit, how do you keep your head strapped on? Can Donk? Nope, he can't. His head's off. And Sia as well. Blame does a lot of damage. And doesn't it just feel like this game is meant to be for big? Grix, miss. Not a problem. Or maybe it is, because Magix has killed rotation. Grix, getting caught. Careful, Magic's throwing it back in his face. 2-on-2 now. Full reset long. Low health here, Spirit. They just need instant headshots. Oh, I think JDC. Magix is so tucked in here. How's he gotten here so quick?
Snuck the whole way. Oh, swing and a miss, and that now leaves it to Tanier.
What's he got? Plants for long.
And he's stuck fighting here. He needs 2 clean kills. There's no taking this to time. You just got to win the fights, and that second one comes up shy. Defuse in for Favon, and Big with a winning half on Spirit's map pick.
Just a sickening game out of Big here. I mean, Spirit won a couple of low economy rounds in this half. They didn't really do too well with AKs. They didn't do too well in these gun rounds. I'm sad they didn't really touch the mid to B. It got them in the game early. They moved away from it very quick. And it was their most successful round. Sure, there weren't many of them. It was 4-1 off the start. That is really rough. I mean, Harry, the last 4 rounds, the big one in that half were 1v1s. You just feel like, you're a millisecond away from taking this map, and now Spirit are down 2 rounds at halftime. 4 huge clutches for Big.
We all know the clutch we're thinking of. Dude, this Big team are great. At a major, they gave us the insane comeback. Now you got this Grix 1-on-3.
They got such good long spawns. Okay, they won't take him. Spirit running up mid.
It's just a big content farm. And Spirit don't want to trifle with that. You see players holding, decide to call it off.
Okay, running around. Tanier, no support here. Needs something good. That's a start. Tabson. Sickening shot. 2 more on the corner. Swing together. Jumping cork. And Shiro's got 1 more. But reload is a problem. It goes both ways. Grix turns around and taps out 2 more. This kid is nuts. 3 headshots. And Big take the pistol.
I don't believe it. Grix is having game of life.
What is it with these young Orbers on Dust 2 at this event? Sizzy did it to Vitality. Grix is doing it to Spirit. These rounds are so punishing. Bop, bop.
I can't imagine it. I can't believe they haven't called a timeout for him at any point. He's just going round to round to round. How don't you have endless adrenaline right now with these moments that Grix is having?
Where are Hallie's timeouts as well? You got to wonder, right? Like, these rounds have been so close. Really frustrating rounds to lose.
Grix might actually be the main character. And I think when you see him winning rounds like that and you're Big, how doesn't that pump you up? How doesn't it feel like this is just meant to happen? That's got to be the vibe that they're all feeling. Oh, he's just nailed Donk through the box.
Dude, the worst part about that, like, Grix, okay, it's that game, isn't it?
Oh, yes, Big. We've missed you. Boy, is it good to have him back.
And while Tabson's just been playing out of his mind as well in both these maps. Played a great T-side of Cash. Blame called some beautiful rounds. And Grix is the main character here on Dust 2. There is that Spirit timeout. Second called here. Hallie on the mic.
Just think about, like, the stark contrast as to what the vibe is in these 2 teams. For Big, eyeing up a playoff run all the way from the open qualifiers, by the way, right? Yeah. The idea that they've been grinding, this is what it was all for. Play through, you've been out here in Paris for a week. This has been the one thing on your mind. And in the game that gets you there or sends you home, it feels like Counter-Strike just wants it to be you. For Team Spirit, they were front runners to be a contender for the trophy. They were meant to be one of the 3 big dogs fighting for the trophy in EWC, and they're staring elimination dead in the face.
Yeah, make no mistake, 4 rounds away from Spirit going home here in Paris. Team that just came off the back of a grand final. Look at the util. Spirit have nothing. They got 2 smokes and a molly and an HE. It's the first gun round, and it's coming at a cost. Tania struggling. Got to hold down long.
All right, keen double kill out of Tania. That is going to pull Shiro over to lend a helping hand, and they've at least shut down this long play. Oh, Griggs. Oh, buddy, don't do it to him again. How much BS can one guy pull off? He's got JDC still in this round alongside him, and they're telling themselves that no round feels impossible. Swing out, they've caught Donk in the open. This was meant to be Spirits all day. This was a scout and a wounded JDC clawing this one back. And now they say, Zontix, bud, you want this? Come and get it. They've got no reason to go swinging into him. Zontix hoping that eventually, nerves get the better of them, that they'll count down 3, 2, 1, give him the fight. That's not happening. Zontix dead. Griggs can do it all. Big can't set a foot wrong.
That's a perfect peak for Zontix to isolate the fight. He's got Griggs crouching on the safe plant, and Griggs just insta-kills him. Both players in the red. Not a problem. Tania 5v3 this round. Shiro made it 4v2. And then boom, JDC and Griggs just happen. And it does feel like there's nothing you can do about this game. Big are looking for another miracle run. A team that many said fluked their way to a major, that farmed lesser teams to get VRS, to get to Cologne. Well, now they're doing it against one of the world's best. Beep. Order of the day. 3 strong our spirit, just pistols.
All right, they lose JDC early. They are going into this stack. Dong's Deagle put down. Griggs. Oh, buddy. He's at it again. Dead after the double. It's left to Favin. 1v1 now. And Shiro had the option of grabbing his weapon of choice, but instead he's played for the space. He's closed in quickly out towards the double doors. Favin dead as he rounds the corner, and so Team Spirit, low econ round, picked up and going their way.
Oh, you got to give it to Shiro there. That is a ballsy call to make, to not go for the orb, to not go for the position, hold the window, to walk up with a P250.
Feels like it worked massively in his favor as well, right? Because Favin is anticipating the AWP on a long sight line. You even see that with the util he's throwing. Okay, it's a big step in the right direction for Team Spirit, but they've still got one hell of a journey left.
It has to be the fire starter here. Shiro triple kill on the P250. And Spirit, the chance to break Big's money here and now. Is that round the turning point here for Spirit?
Yeah, I think also, like sometimes when you're in this flow state and everything's just going right, it's hard to go back to, and you really want to, right? If you get offset in a couple of these rounds, if you take a couple of stumbles, that's sometimes where you see this momentum just die out completely. Not saying it's happened yet. Griggs is still 21-8. Big is still in the lead.
No matter what, he's got his AWP, and so Big are banking on it in this game. Made a bit early. Big not there yet. ADC behind the smoke. Holding for long control that's not coming. We've got Tania locked in. In and off angle.
He better be locked in, because he is fighting here, right?
Hey, he got 2 last time. New position for him. Shiro not supporting, has 1 flash. Oh, easy, you'd think, but JDC wins the spam battle. Tania's time to shine.
Multi-kill in this position last time, going to try and do it again. Griggs goes hunting on that AWP for Shiro, but can't quite find him, and that just lets Tania feast. Blame F. Claws it back to a 1v2, but 15 seconds. There's no winning this. And so another great hold out towards the long side from Tanir.
Yeah, felt like there were chances there for Big. I mean, Grix almost got a shot on Shiro, who was looking the wrong way. Blame plays a little bit earlier as well. Players open in CT, but no success on long. As Tanir does his job, you know, he had 6 kills just 3 rounds ago. He's had the double kill at long, sure, in a round they lost. And now the triple. Very important output from Tanir in a position with almost no supports. Got 1 flash off of Shiro, and boy, did it work. So now Big broken. Blame on the save. Everyone else full eco. Blame just gets out. I don't think they know. I don't think they know. Okay, Tanir's going to check it. Phew.
I think he knew. Okay.
We don't lose the Glocks.
Yeah, like that's... Oh, that would be embarrassing.
But he didn't see them. Okay, awkward.
That's fine. Donk's here. It's all contained. It's all controlled. Team Spirit continue closing in on a tie game.
Donk's still smiling. Spirit is still dangerous.